Uh, can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can y'all hear me now? If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. Uh, Trying to make sure that you guys can hear me. If you can, put it in the chat for me. I don't know what's going on. Why didn't? There we go. All right, cool. So let's start this thing over again. Once again, welcome y'all to the Shipwreck Podcast. I am the host, uh, Bobby Ship, and today we're in store for a good session. Um, we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about Shedeur and also Mr. Shay, Uncle Shay himself. We're going to talk about Sinners. That will be the last thing. So anybody, if you haven't watched Sinners yet, it's okay. We're going to make it the last topic that we talk about to make sure we don't have any spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. So you get a chance to enjoy ton of the podcast, 90% of the podcast probably, before we start talking about Sinners, because it was an excellent movie. I would just say that if you haven't seen it, get out there and see it immediately. It's really, really, really an outstanding movie. Very well done. But before we start with Shedeur and Uncle Shay, I just wanted to touch on my world champion Philadelphia Eagles made it out to DC to see to visit the president. And we had a bunch of players that went and a bunch that didn't. I would say over half the team, as far as players, did go. Um, Half the team did go, but there were some notable absences. But there were some, definitely some starters that went and surrounded themselves around the president. For one, the one that hurt though the most, the one that bothered me the most was obviously Saquon, because he didn't just go to the event. He enjoyed Trump the day before, if that's what you want to call it, enjoying him. I mean, being around him, you have to. I would say you have to enjoy him. I guess I don't know, to spend that much time with him. And then he made excuses for it. Saying is, he just respects the office. But how can you go somewhere and be around Trump when he don't respect the office? So for you to say that you respect the office and that's why you went when he doesn't respect the office, it makes no sense. Let alone what he's doing to black folks, let alone what he's doing to Latinos, let alone what he's doing to um disabled people as well, and veterans, and everybody as a whole. And for you to dismiss those things to me is it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's not nothing that I would personally have done. So yeah, it was very disappointing. But I will say, my mother quarterback, he didn't go. He didn't go. AJ didn't go. Skinny Batman didn't go. It was a ton of players that didn't go. Matter of fact, I would say over half of the starting defense did not go. I'm proud of those. I'm proud of those young brothers. I am happy that they stood on business and said we're not going. I really appreciated that from them. And Saquon, man, I don't even know what to say. I will say this: I cannot, in good conscience, wear your jersey. Can't hang your jersey up that I have to hang up in my house. I just can't, because I lost respect for you. I will be honest. I'm going to root for you on a football field because I want my team to win, but I just I can't do that. I can't wear your jersey or anything anymore. All right. I just hope it don't mess up the locker room. All right, we got that piece of business out the way. So now let's go. Let's talk about what's going on and what happened these last 2 weeks. The first thing I wanted to talk about is what happened to Shedeur Sanders. As we all know, if you don't know, by someone said they can't root for him. And we'll talk about that if you want to chime in and come on in, and we're gonna talk about that. If you come on and sit on the couch and let's talk about it. Well, you can't root for him because you're a Cowboys fan. That's why you can't root for him. But anyway, we'll go on. Shedeur. He was considered a top prospect in this year's draft. and he was not drafted until the 5th round. It took till day 3 of the draft for him to be drafted. It was shocking. It was shocking for anybody to watch, from the broadcasters at the draft to us watching at home. It was extremely shocking. But why did he fall? Was it due to racism? Was it due to his flamboyancy, or how he carried himself? Was it due to Dion? I tend to believe that it was more about his play on the field and his talent itself and his attitude than more has to do with being black, to be honest with you. And it took me a while to come to that conclusion, because at first I was like, this is BS, this is BS. But after doing more research, I think I have come to the conclusion that I believe that he should he have went before the 5th round. I do believe so. But I think once teams viewed him as a backup talent, or maybe kind of starter talent, and I think they realized, or thought that was worth the headache. Was it worth the headache? But before you chime in, I do have a video I want you guys to watch that's going to go over some of the people that thought about this subject and thought about Shedeur, to see if they thought it was racism or not. So let's get into it.
What we are witnessing once again is the machinery of a system that has never quite known what to do with a free black man, much less than a free black family. The NFL, with all its pageantry and power, finds itself uncomfortable, even threatened, when the likes of the Sanders family walk into a room, not asking for a seat at the table, but daring to bring their own. Dion, Shedeur, this family has refused to shrink to fit the confines laid out for them. And so the machine does what it has always done. It seeks to diminish, to distort, to remind them and us that there is still a place for black folk, and it's not at the head of the table. But in tragedy, you see, it's not in their refusals to bow, but is in the nation's fear of black excellence unchained. The fear that has always been the real danger, not the power of our stride, but the shadow we cast when we stand upright, unafraid, and unapologetically ourselves.
These people got to be around them. But let's be honest, it's all just racism. Shedeur Sanders is a proud young black man coming from an incredibly proud and successful black father, and they attempted to go into the NFL in a way that was sort of commensurate with the power and prestige and influence that this young man already has. Let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders played in 2 of, I think, 3 of the most watched college football games in ESPN history throughout the course of his career. Period. Most teams would want that. You would want someone who participated in games that broke records on ESPN. Most people would want the player whose jersey now, even though he's a 5th round draft pick for the Cleveland Browns, he's the 3rd highest selling jersey of rookies in the NFL. And the guy just got drafted last week in the 5th round. Most teams would want that if the world were equal and if the world were objective, but it's not. He's black. And we have to stop pretending that most of these NFL owners and these coaches, right, are not mostly white men who have a specific way. And I'm not saying this is all white people. I'm saying if you look at the MAGA culture, and that's going to be my 3rd point, but if you look at the MAGA culture of the NFL, of course they don't like seeing this confident black man. They like a hard luck story. They like a brother who has to call an NFL owner, oh, he's the father I never had. Examples of how the NFL is rigged and how they oppress talent in order to extract the most they can out of these bodies. You can go back just 2 years to a guy named Lamar Jackson, who was a 2-time MVP. He should have won it last year over Josh Allen, 2-time MVP of the Baltimore Ravens. 2 years ago, he decided that he wanted to test free agency. And he didn't want to follow the system the NFL sets up. He doesn't have an agent. His mother negotiates his contracts and she's a CPA. Well, they don't like that. They don't want the face of an NFL franchise, this black man, to be operating independently. You gotta do what they want you to do. You have to put money into the hands of agents. You have to put money into the system that we designed to keep you in your particular place. And so what happened when he wanted to semi-test free agency? No other team talked to him. And you're trying to tell me this isn't collusion? You're trying to tell me that 31 other franchises in the NFL that nobody wanted a 24, 25-year-old two-time MVP? Of course it was collusion. Of course Shedeur Sanders is collusion. Shedeur Sanders is a black man who comes from wealth. Shedeur is a black man who comes from wealth and is proud of himself. Shedeur Sanders would be a legacy black man in the NFL in the most prominent position in all of American sports, which is a quarterback, and large numbers of owners and staffs that run NFL teams are racist and they don't like black people who are smart, intelligent, and have money. Period. Any other discussion that does not acknowledge that is lying to you, right?
All right, I want to stop right there for a second just to recap what he said. I definitely the NFL has always had a racism problem. I do think that that's why Kaepernick never got back into the league. And I know I have some friends that boycotted the NFL for a while because of that, and I respect it and understand it. There's definitely a problem in the NFL, and this past year, Trump got them to get rid of end racism out of the end zones. Another reason to be mad about Saquon. Anyway, so the NFL definitely has a racism problem. Could race have played a part? I mean, underneath, absolutely, absolutely. Do I think it was the dominant reason why he fell as far as he fell? I just don't. That's my opinion. I just don't see. Like I said, I just everybody's been saying for a while, and this is even before the draft, that this was a bad quarterback draft. It was just light on good prospects, and they were saying for a while that if Shedeur was in last year's draft, he would have been the 6th or 7th quarterback drafted. So for him to go 5 again, I think that was a bit much. I think that was they got to the point was was the risk worth the reward until he got to the 5th round. But before that, I think it was just his talent wasn't there on tape. So with that being said, I want to finish off what the video
You in your
had to say.
particular place. And so what happened when he wanted to semi-test free agency? Not acknowledge that as lying.
Racist undertones has a surprise.
In the NFL in the most prominent position in all of American sports, which is a quarterback, and large numbers of owners and staffs that run NFL teams are racist and they don't like black people who are smart, intelligent, and have money. Period. Any other discussion that does not acknowledge that is lying to you, right?
The neighborhood race lady has a surprising take here. I don't think this really was about race at all. And I know that, and it pains me to say this only from this perspective, is because I have been as critical of the NFL and its racist undertones and overtones as much as anybody. I am not the one to throw down the cape over the puddle for the NFL because their track record speaks for itself when it comes to matters where race is, if not directly implied, at least it's just sort of floating there right around the atmosphere and their unwillingness to actually deal with it. But in this case, what is crazy to me is that we have turned Shedeur Sanders not being taken in the first round, not being taken when people thought that he should have been, as if he's some kind of freedom fighter and political prisoner. And I'm like, that's not what any of this was about. Listen, it's hard for me. And I know that just because you have, sometimes these things don't go together at all. It's like in the territory of you have a black friend, right? But the person I really feel sorry for is Cam Ward. Cam Ward went number 1. Cam Ward was a 0-star recruit from a 2-parent home, because you know how we like to throw that around, right? And on some respectability type of stuff. He is a fantastic player, confident, did all the things, drafted number 1. And with the way people have so embraced this narrative that Shedeur was done so wrong, it's like they basically making Cam Ward sound like he's Steven from Django. And I'm just like, you don't even people have so embraced this narrative that Shedeur was done so wrong. It's like they basically making Cam Ward sound like he's Steven from Django. And I'm just like, you don't even know this kid. It's like, suddenly he's painted in this light because, the NFL will accept that type of black, but not this type of black. It's like, do you know how many black players went ahead of Shedeur Sanders? It's a lot of them. All right. And the bottom line is maybe we should accept the fact, and this is not to say that Shedeur Sanders cannot go on to have a great NFL career, can't do great things, but maybe we, as black people, need to accept the fact that Deion Sanders may have overplayed his hand a little bit, and there's no crime in him infusing all the confidence in Shedeur. Listen. I was not bothered by the wrist flexing, by none of that. NFL teams, if you're talented enough, they don't care. All right, they don't. And we have seen this countless times. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens in the second round drafted somebody who has been accused of sexual assault multiple times. But you want me to believe that, like, in the NFL, they make these talent decisions all the time. Boy, if the talent is worth it, they don't give a damn if you showed up in gold-plated everything, flashing whatever, as long as you can play. That's all they care about. And
Jamel,
the problem in this case, why it was kind of the perfect recipe for this kind of explosive reaction by a lot of people, is that Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, the entire Colorado story, they brought in a lot of really casual fans, as in people who did not pay attention to football at all or barely paid attention to college football, and certainly not the NFL draft. So between Deion building the hype, between the hype in general just being around this team, there was an expectation already built that Mel Kiper fed. So a lot of people are feeling disappointed, and we're feeling like this was a grave injustice. When it's just, if you watched and studied the NFL and reported on the NFL, you understand how this could have possibly happened. I mean, I would even gather to say, if anything, at least among the media, I mean, how fans have responded, and they tend to get blurred together, because there was definitely a huge portion of particular fan bases that did the opposite in terms of treating Shedeur Sanders a particular way. And when we know what that is, we know what that element is. Like, they definitely face that. But in the media, if anything, because of the reverence for Deion, I think a lot of people were kind of covering for it. And he got not him himself, but when it came to like really evaluating Shedeur's talent, I think that they probably gave him some passes and maybe didn't report as accurately or as honestly as they should have because of who his father was.
Took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, you know, when you listen to this kid talk right prior or at the combine about, if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame him.
And Shedeur's off the field is not bad. Never been in trouble or anything. But when you act, there are only so many teams, right? It's a supply-demand thing. Well, 6 teams last year drafted quarterbacks in the top 6. They're immediately out. There are several quarterbacks on rookie contracts. They're not going to be in the mix. And then the veteran teams, Andy Reid, the Bills, the Ravens, they're just consumed with trying to win the Super Bowl right now. So it's a small group, right?
Yeah.
So the small group, well, those were the people he met with and clearly turned them off. And McShay's been coming out with this report. What happened with the Giants of like, I don't need you, that never happens. There were a lot of red flags guys that were drafted well above Shedeur Sanders. Those guys were viewed as good players. Now, I think Shedeur's a solid prospect. But,
so do I.
But what I've heard about the way he's acting, like he would be an immediate turnoff to any human being, right? In any industry. That's not how young people act. And I think they tried to change their tactics from what I've heard the last month, but it was too late. It's hard to pivot. And again, you're just compared, like they view you in a group with Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel. And so that's who you're compared to. You're not compared to Cam Ward. He has nothing in common with you, but people like him on and off the field. So the group you're compared to, it's like, well, we love the people. What's up with this guy? Anytime it's like, what's up with this guy, and you play quarterback, that's a problem.
Two people that I spoke to in these positions left the meeting feeling like Shedeur Sanders was not overly concerned with what they thought of him. They had a 15-minute meeting with him, and when they were done, they both said in different ways, different words, that they did not feel like Shedeur Sanders cared all that much about what that organization thought of him. I've had multiple conversations, too, with these personnel people and other personnel people who see the same things that we talked about on tape. Best pure passer, unbelievable, when in rhythm, touch, timing, layering the ball, throwing receivers open, great instincts as a passer. When on the move, rolling right, rolling left, he can do things that are magical, right? But in those conversations, he's not that great an athlete. Holds on to the ball too long, bailing out a lot right and left, leaving easy cash on the field. It's a lot of the same stuff that we were worried about with Caleb Williams coming out. The difference is Shedeur is a fraction of the athlete that Caleb Williams is. And we saw how poorly that went this year. And so there's work to be done with this guy.
I think one of the overwhelming storylines coming out of this combine is that not only is he not all that close to Cam Ward in terms of that quarterback 1 race, that he's falling and that it's maybe quarterback 3 discussion time now.
Either Shedeur and Coach Prime, the Sanders family, and that team know exactly how this thing's going to play out, or based off of our tape study evaluation, and while we like Shedeur Sanders a whole lot, it could be a long first night of the draft for Shedeur Sanders.
And that last clip was before the draft, and they were saying that he was already looking at as the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. So again, could race have played a part? Absolutely. I was irate at first when it first happened. I was like, this is appalling. This is terrible. I looked at I hated anybody commenting and saying, well, this is Deion. This is on Deion. Deion is the reason why, because his dad is overbearing or anything like that. I hated those comments simply because nothing Deion has done could ever compare to what Archie Manning did for his kids, for Eli. He literally made a team trade their pick, trade their pick because his son was not going to go there. So nothing can compare to that. You can't tell me that Deion wanting his son to go to a good team or good organization is wrong when Archie did the same thing. I'll say it the same way too. I think that there is definitely a stigma. I will say that when it does come to race, I do definitely think there is a stigma when it comes to strong Black fathers. For example, LeVar Ball and how he was looked at by the media, because he was an outstanding father. He had, he raised 3 boys. 2 of them was lottery picks. 1 of them had a little bit of trouble in college. But he was raising his kids to be excellent, and he demanded that from his kids, and he was frowned upon, in my opinion. Again, anybody that wants to join the pod, come on in. If you haven't already, please go to the YouTube, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And again, so to me, the way that the media portrays Black men, strong Black men, that are in their kids' lives, it bothers me. It bothers me as a father. It bothers me as a man. Again, what say you, community? But so was the last bit that talked about with it not being racism? That anybody, you can just say it in the comments. How did you guys feel about that? Because that's, like I said, doing the research and actually getting more information about his interviews. He was going into interviews with his headsets around his neck, and that's one thing. Okay, that's your jury, but you got your music playing while you're doing an interview. I'm not hiring you. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You can be my best friend's son. Not today, not like that. The most I can do is probably give you another interview when you can act right. But you have to know how to handle yourself in those situations. It's a job interview. Whether you wanted to play for that team or not, whether you thought you was too good for that team or not, it's still a job interview, and you got to handle yourself accordingly. So those things I can't excuse whether he, just because he's black, and I don't think anybody listening or watching right now would excuse any of those as well. It's just not something that it's not how you handle yourself. It's just not. So again, to me, I just felt like race didn't play a major role. If anybody, like I said out there, feels like it did and it was a major role, chime on in. I would love to hear your opinion. Because I just feel like it just wasn't. It was his play, his talent level. Because I would say his play on the field was above average. It was good. It was good on the field. Was it excellent? Was it you know earth shattering? No, but it was good. It was decent. It was definitely draftable. Definitely draftable. Definitely. I like I said, I thought he was going to be a first rounder, no later than second round. When he didn't go in the second, I was just floored. And then seeing all these other quarterbacks, I think when you seen the other quarterbacks go before him, I think that was strictly because the risk reward of, do I want the circus, because he does come with a circus, and that's because of his name. That is because of who his dad is, and I understand that. But it's so is it worth it at that point for your backup to bring all of that? I think that I actually wanted the Eagles to draft him when he got to the fifth round. I actually wanted the Eagles to draft him, and I thought that they were. I thought that he was going to get drafted by the Eagles, and I think that's why Cleveland jumped up right ahead of him and drafted him, because I think the Eagles would have been able to develop him. He wouldn't have never started for us, I don't think, but he could have been developed, and we could have flipped him over for a second pick. So, what did Yasmin say? I believe it was a very poor interview, and his behavior and actions gave him entitlement. That's I think that was the biggest factor for why he went as far down as he did. I think he probably would have got drafted late second or somewhere in the second, third round if it wasn't for his antics. He just bombed every interview he had, and from everything that I've read and looked at, and I don't see how you can be mad at the NFL for him not being drafted because of that. Like again, if anybody would like to Philly. Yeah, I seen you on there, Philly. If you want to come back on and talk about it, we can. He said circus fills seats but needs some good role models. That's true. Uh, to me, his dad should have demanded more of him in his behavior. He cannot act like his father. He don't have the talent level his father had. And maybe his father couldn't see that because he was able to do that. And so it was hard for him to relate that to his son because, hey, that's the way he was able to come into the league and act. Now, I don't think he came in the league that brash, to be honest. But he was confident. And there's nothing wrong being confident. Nothing wrong with wanting people to acknowledge and know that you're great. But you gotta be able to back it up. And I don't know if that was possible or not. So yeah, so that was the Shannon. Sorry, that was us talking about Shedeur. Again, anybody, if you haven't already, please go to the YouTube and the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Trying to build that one up because eventually I will go to that one full time. Than being on Facebook. If you want to join the pod, I put the links into the chats. You should be able to click on it and I'll let you in. And you can join. Hold on, if we have somebody now that would like to talk. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Ricky?
What's up, cuz? What's going on?
Nothing much. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the couch. This is your first time, and I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome. So, like I said, we're talking about Shedeur right now. What are your thoughts on what transpired during the draft?
I think it was a combination of things. First and foremost, teams don't like the fact that his father is who he is, Dion, and also Shedeur, I think they're not sure about his him as a quarterback. You know, they see some things, but they don't know if it's all smoke and mirrors. They can't really tell. And then he didn't participate in the Senior Bowl. He didn't do the combine, so they didn't get a chance to see him in those venues as well. So they kind of like a little suspect. So he just got to go out and prove it. But I think a big part of it was I don't know for sure because they say he didn't interview well as well. So I'm not a part of that. So I don't know what the interview was like. But they say he didn't interview well at whatever teams he interviewed for.
Yeah, they reported that one of the teams gave him an install package. I think it was the Giants actually gave him an install package that they wanted him to study and be able to talk about in the meeting, and he completely blew it off and never studied any of it, and went into the meeting talking about how you're going to surround people around me, and made it more about him and not knowing any of the plays that they told him. We want you to understand and know. That's one of the teams he wanted to draft him.
Yeah.
And for him to not prepare, yeah, you don't want that out of your quarterback. You just don't. You need your quarterback in the building before everybody and after everybody leaves. And if you're not getting that buy-in from your quarterback, you're just I don't want you. I don't.
Gotcha. Yeah.
At a first and second round, now fifth rounder, and maybe you can come in and we can teach you how to be a pro. Yeah, I'll do that. We don't need you.
I was surprised Cleveland took him though, still, because they drafted a quarterback prior to him, and then I think they still have
Gabriel. They drafted Gabriel. They have Deshaun, but he's gonna be out all the next year because he tore his Achilles again. They have Joe Flacco, and they traded for Kenny Pickett. So
right.
they have 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah. So hopefully there's enough time that he can just go in and show them, as he has value, and therefore, but it's quite possible he could get cut during training camp.
Yeah, it is possible. It is. I think that's going to deter. I think that will have to be for him to get cut during training camp. Would be him just completely not showing up to work. Not showing up prepared. I think that's
not balling out.
Yeah, not. I think he's going to get a chance, and I can see him. I think he was better than Gabriel as a prospect. I think he was better than Shook, who New Orleans took. The one that I think talent wise was a better prospect to me is Milroe. I think his athletic. They said the only player faster in the league than him is Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So that alone, I'm gonna give you a shot. I'm gonna give you a shot on that. So I just feel like with that, he could have definitely been before those two other ones, but he could have been definitely the third or fourth.
I thought he handled it well after he did get drafted, though.
I think he did too.
He celebrated. He didn't take it, he was discussed, and I think that's smart on his part because it still keeps his brand looking good because he still has rights and he still has money coming in from other streams. So to me, if he does, just say for instance, I'm trying to think who was the quarterback that Cleveland took. What was the guy? Money. They called him Money. His name.
You talking about this year? The quarterback?
No, 2 years ago, about 4 years ago.
Johnny Manziel and
Johnny.
Baker Mayfield. Both of them was flamboyant, super flamboyant as quarterbacks.
So I'm hoping it's not going to be another situation with that. But he can prove himself. He still has an opportunity to prove himself. He got drafted. Now go out and be what they thought you aren't. Be him.
Yeah. All right. We got somebody else to the couch. Bobby, welcome to the couch. This isn't your first time on. We've been talking about Shedeur for a little while now. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know. Overall, I think it's a interesting situation. I mean, it's fascinating because you talk about a guy who's in all the draft commercials, right? And I mean, you had 3 prospects in the draft commercials, even during the second round, the end of the first round, right? It was Cam Ward, it was your Travis Hunter, and it was your Shedeur Sanders. And for Shedeur to fall all the way to the 5th, I don't know if we've ever seen that for a guy who's a top 3 prospect in a draft commercial.
Yeah.
Watching him through the season, right, and seeing him in the Heisman candidacy all the way up, like number 4, number 3, however high he got, right? I didn't think watching him throughout the season, and I watched a little bit of Colorado football, I didn't think he was a top 1 or a top 2 quarterback in the class. With that being said, for him to be projected what he was, and for interviews to take him down all the way to 5th, that is insane work. Insane work.
Yeah.
So my take on it is, I think the league was trying to come together and humble him and say, listen, we know you can play football, right? But you're not your father. You don't have the athleticism that your father had. You're not the athlete that your father had. All right. We have Cam Ward here, who's basically as equal or better than you, right? And he has no off the field antics, and he just wants to work. And he's shown that, and he's proven that time and time again. So he's going to go number 1, and we're going to show you that's what you could have been, but let's pass on you and keep moving on. And
so you think his talent was good enough? You think his talent was good enough to be number 1?
I don't think his talent was good enough to be number 1. I think he was definitely good enough to be in the first round for sure. I think he was good enough to be top 2nd. With that said, when you have teams with a wild quarterback situation, passing on him like that, the way they did, I mean, it was just unbelievable. All right, when you have the Giants taking Jackson Dart instead, that was wild to me. When you have the Steelers still holding out for Aaron, are they holding out for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I think they are.
After, and they're looking at Aaron Rodgers coming off of his Packers seasons, not disregarding the fact that he just did nothing with the Jets for two years.
Yeah.
You know, so they're still holding out for him, passing on Justin Fields, letting Justin Fields walk out the door. Okay, cool. Maybe they're looking to draft a quarterback to at least learn under Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is almost 40.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that he doesn't have the longevity, but how long is he really going to be playing the game? Is he your long-term solution for the future of your franchise? And I don't think the Steelers have that. So for them to pass on quarterbacks, especially someone like Shedeur Sanders, who can potentially be a starter, I think he would have to take more of a I think if he came into a team that was really bad, let's say he came in and he was a number 1 pick to the Titans, right? A team that's not good, a team that doesn't have weapons to necessarily build around their starter player, I think he would have crumbled under pressure, and I think he would have been a Caleb Williams. I do. I genuinely do think that.
I think him going late is definitely a good thing for him. Now,
sure.
going to Cleveland with that many quarterbacks in there, he's not going to be able to get all the reps that he needs. I don't like that. I would like him to go somewhere as a third QB and learn and get more reps. So I don't like that. But I think Stefanski can be a good quarterback for him. It's just it's a crowded room. It's a crowded room, man. He's got his work cut out for him. Definitely.
For sure. Yeah, I think if he goes to a Tennessee Titans, for example, like Cam Ward did, or kind of like a situation that Cam Newton had going to the Panthers with that losing culture that he was talking about, I think he would have had, or even just like a Caleb Williams situation where you're going to a Bears roster that has potential, but they're not there yet all the way. I think he definitely would have folded under pressure, and he would have had a Caleb Williams situation early on, or maybe a Bryce Young situation to where it's like, all right, like, is he the guy? Is he as good as we thought he was? Yada, yada, yada. And I think if he takes more of like a Patrick Mahomes approach, goes to a team that's average, maybe above average, and gets to sit behind a veteran quarterback, like maybe a Joe Flacco, or someone who's been in that highlight position and gets to learn for a year, like an Aaron Rodgers at the Steelers, for example, maybe he can work into it, and then I think he could be a decent, solid starting
I,
quarterback in the NFL. I think for
I think
sure.
he could be. Yeah, I think he could be. I definitely think he could be. All
So
right.
I have a question. I have a question
Go
for
ahead.
you, actually.
Go ahead.
So with him being drafted to the Cleveland Browns and them having all those quarterbacks, I understand Deshaun Watson's out, right? But like, what
Mhm.
is your roster? I have my own, but what is your roster take as far as who's going to be
Mm.
going into that quarterback room? Who's going to be the starting guy, the number
I
one
think
option off
I
the
think
rip, and going?
Flacco. I think Flacco is going to be the starter. I think it's a fight between him and Gabriel to be the backup, and I think Kenny Pickett is going to be either released or traded.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think I don't. They're not going to cut Gabriel. Gabriel's a third round pick, and the reason why he was drafted is because of the owner. The owner wanted him. You could see clearly when he was drafted that the coach and the GM was like this.
Yeah.
They didn't want him.
Yeah.
That was a owner saying we're gonna take him. Let's go get him now. And so I don't see him getting cut. And teams rarely keep. Now they keep 3, but there's been times when you just keep 2, but nobody keeps 4. Nobody keeps
Yeah.
4. And now if they put him on the practice squad, keep Gabriel as the third one and keep putting him on the practice squad. Somebody I could see another team picking him up, taking him off the practice squad, but you got to put him on a roster. So I can definitely see something like that happening. But I just don't see him. I don't see him playing this year unless he's the third quarterback going in, or unless he really beats out Gabriel in practice. We got somebody else that wants to join the pod. Welcome, Kwame. Once again, you've been here before. You sat on the couch before. Tell us what you're thinking about this, about Shedeur.
Man, I just not sure what. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, not. I don't know what's been discussed, man. I was just listening for a minute, but um, it's hard to say what I think because I don't know how far y'all going with it,
Okay,
man.
so we done showed a pretty lengthy video, 12-minute video about was it racism? Was race involved with it, or was it just his interviews, his talent level? I've come to the conclusion that I don't think race was a determining factor for it. I think it was his talent level and his interviews that really turned teams off. So that's basically where we're at.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say, I know sometimes we go straight to race, but I do believe if he was not black, it would not have gone as deep. Okay.
He
Uh,
got drafted sooner, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, I don't think there's nothing wrong with believing in yourself. I don't think there's
Mhm,
anything wrong with, like we all throughout the year, through the Big 12. I get it if he was at Jackson State, things of that nature. But he was up for Heisman. He was in the top 10,
mhm,
actually top 5. He got all type of awards throughout the year. From the offensive award, the quarterback, a lot of recognition, high praise. Um, every week, his game was picked apart, and for whatever reason, going into the draft, he was definitely a first rounder. Whether he
mhm,
was like 1 or 2 with Cam Ward or not, but I don't think there was any question that he was a first round bad on a bad day, second round pick.
mhm,
Okay, so with that being said, it's kind of hard when you like they try to put Dion in there, the dad, things of that nature, which I do believe has a dynamic to it to a certain degree. But I just blame it on weak leadership, though. If a guy can come in and he's bigger than the brand, I think that has something to do with the coaches or the owners or the GMs. Uh, we say TOE, talent over everything.
mhm,
How many people have you seen drafted over the last 4, 5, 10 years that the talent may not be there, but you can damn sure work with them to get them there, right? And
mhm.
so, so I just hate it for that end. But I do think that he did go through the interview process very cocky, probably unprofessional. I do
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah,
I
yep. Not
definitely think
prepared.
that
Not
hurt him.
prepared. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that hurt him. there's a sense of humble pie that I think that was needed. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, man, uh, I just think that an opportunity was almost like lost on like I didn't think he was gonna get drafted at all.
Mm.
I thought the game plan was to make him almost interview walk on for a job in the league. And when you go down that road, now you're taking the opportunity of work that been done since he was like 5 years old, 10
Mm-hmm.
years old, 15
Mm-hmm.
years old. Those guys want to play. And so it's a lot of dynamic, but I don't think we can point to one thing. But I have seen a lot of things over the last few days from different executives, former players. Everybody got an opinion, but I don't think that his talent was a fifth round talent in today's league, in that draft, so to
I would
speak.
agree with you. I would agree with you, but I
So,
think it got to the point where it was it worth, like you said, and you see, you can talk about leadership, but nobody wants their second string or string quarterback being the story. You just don't. You know,
I get it.
you don't need that distraction. And
But
I
tell
think
me, tell me where it's not a story somewhere else that let's go college.
mm-hmm,
All year long, I watched Arch Manning be the story behind Quinn Ewers
mm-hmm,
to the point where Ewers went to the draft, couldn't even come back this year to even compete for his job. Right
yeah.
now, that's why I believe that the humble pie got to come in where I get the distraction. You don't want to be like creating some type of issue where like I should be playing. I'm better. I don't know if that's the case, man. Once you start looking at these videos of when you the man, you the man. But it's kind of hard for me to jump on that bandwagon when this guy really hadn't been in no trouble.
No, he hadn't been in
He,
no
he,
trouble.
he,
Yeah.
he's been. I never heard anything from a bad teammate.
Mm-hmm,
Maybe you have. I'm just saying what I haven't.
mm-hmm.
Uh, haven't heard anything in regards to. I just think it's just a level of confidence that I think need to be checked, but I don't think it had to be checked to the point where you got to fight just to even get into the league.
I think it was bigger than that. I think it was first off, there was a lot of teams that didn't need him. So let's go with
Right.
there was only about 3 teams that we thought of in the first round that really would take a first round quarterback. Maybe 4 if you add the Rams. So you had Tennessee, you had Giants, you had the Saints and Pittsburgh. So 4 teams. Those 4 teams needed a quarterback, right? And that you would
Right.
say would be the first round that would need a quarterback. Well, he pissed the Giant. He wasn't going to Tennessee because Tennessee didn't was taking Cam. He pissed the Giants off. He pissed another team off in the first in the top 10 with his interviews. And so I think it just got to the point where and you notice from working when you training somebody and they're busting their butt and they're trying their best to get it done and they always prepare it and they just need some more time. They need some more help to get there. You're gonna do whatever you can. You're gonna, to fight for them and make sure that they got that opportunity and got that chance. But if they come to work unprepared, not on work, not come to work on time, they're acting like they belong here without putting in the work. If I ask you, hey, I want you to know this tomorrow when we come to work, and you don't know it, I got a problem with that. I got a problem with, and I think that's what happened to him. And like you said earlier, he's like, if you got the talent, we can work with it. But if you're not acting like you want that work, you're willing to put in that work, that's where the problem comes in at. And I think that's what happened to him.
Well,
What
see,
one?
And then once that happened, I think the first round is once he became being just he's just gonna be a backup because we're not gonna use the capital to make him a starter. I think that's when teams was like, I'd rather just get other players than bringing him on for that distraction at this time.
And
But
and then
I do think that the 5th round was too much.
and then Bob, when you add the fact that you said only 4 teams basically were in need of quarterbacks, then you also have to add the fact that his father said that it was a certain amount of teams that he would not play for. So
Right.
we don't know. They didn't name any teams, but
Yeah.
that's the way they projected themselves. I like Shedeur, but he don't have he don't have the strongest arm. But the best thing for him is his accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a high accuracy. He's a high a caliber of accuracy that he can throw the ball, but he don't have the biggest arm. Nor does he. I mean, just like the guy from San Francisco, he don't have the biggest arm. He has your receivers basically. If you get the ball to him, then they get the yak yards. So that's what you would need. Whoever he's throwing to, got to have receivers that is able to make plays after catching the ball. But it could have been a little bit of a like I'm gonna rub your nose in it type of thing. But I think also he didn't help himself at all.
Yeah. All right, we got two more people, Ronnie and Ron. Ron and Ron. Go ahead and go because I want to switch it up to talk about Mr. Shay, Uncle Shay here in a second. So go ahead.
Hey, Bob, let me just say.
Go ahead, Kwame. Go ahead.
I just want to say just something in response to what you said.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that he didn't come prepared for an interview versus never been said he never came prepared to play like in his career.
That's true.
So I'm just using the job standpoint where we deal with people sometimes that haven't been shown that the talent is there. Like maybe he can't do the job. We don't know if he can do it because they're not prepared. What I'm saying is this guy has come prepared from day one and everything I've seen in the past from games we watched, from practices, things of that nature. So that's why I put the caveat. I think that was gonna have to be just like my brother just said. It had to be a conversation in regards to your role, and that's where the interview process I think really screwed him. If he wasn't willing to accept the role that they was trying to put him in, I would much have wish we had that situation, see what he stood versus like, hey man, this dude ain't worth, like the money, the time, you know, versus I don't know if this guy don't have a strong arm. I don't know if this guy is athletic enough. I don't know if this guy, because he's proven, and other coaches and offensive coordinators have proven that they can work with anything to move the ball. So I just want to kind of bring that up.
Yeah, I believe you on that one. All right, Ronnie, you up first. What's your thoughts, real quick?
Man, listen, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist, right? just to throw it out there, I'm just messing around. But what if it all was planned?
Meaning?
Y'all ever thought about that angle on it? Oh, I got to go straight. But
Meaning?
what if they planned all of this? I mean, look at this jersey sales, bro. All this stuff is marketing, and for me.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Can hear him. Let me see if I can bring him back. Yeah, your volume is messed up, or your mic is messed up. Let me try it again. Hello? You may have to come on back, Ronnie, and log back in. Hey,
I'll
Ronald,
jump in.
go ahead.
I'll jump in real quick because I can't stay long. I wonder, do we need to look at it from a different perspective in terms of a survival mode from a coaching point of view? If I'm a young coach, remember it's a small amount of numbers of teams that is going to need Shedeur as a quarterback. And I'm that coach. I bring in Shedeur. He doesn't do well. After the first year, we lose after the first year with all the expectations, all the hype that's going to come with him. Now the conversation switches. Do we need to bring in his dad and replace his head coach? I wonder, is that part of the conversation is I don't want to bring him in because it's going to be pressure on him that it may be unfair because of everything that's going on. And then the undue pressure on me where they want to get rid of me because Dion has shown that he works better with his son and he's a bigger draw than me. Do I even want to bring that into my building?
Then the coach needs to be fired now because you don't deserve your job if you're not drafting talent, or because
But
you're gonna be
Well,
replaced.
that's kind of the situation that even Mike over at the Steelers is in the sense of they need to win now. You know what I'm saying? Every time the Steelers have a losing season, his job is on the line. Every single time. It's been like that for the last 5 years, 10 years almost. Everyone's super hot whenever Steelers get a win streak and they're on their run. Cool, great. Mike is the greatest coach ever. And then the second they take a bad season or 2 bad seasons, he's out the door or he's automatically getting threatened. So Mike is already in that position now. How many other coaches are behind the scenes in that position of if we take 1 or 2 more bad seasons, are we gonna still invest in you as a coach? So as that coach, do I want to invest in the Shedeur Sanders, or do I want to invest in maybe a safer pick or a veteran quarterback like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
So or Russell Wilson.
And the other part is, I mean, you got to think about it. If I'm a head coach, I'm here for 3-4 years, if that. I need to make my 3-4 years worth it, and it's best for me, not someone else is driving. Put change coaches in the background. Like Dion is a larger than NFL figure than most people realize. Like what he did to take Jackson State to the level that it did to national games on national television, and then going to Colorado and making it what it is now, which no one remember. Colorado. Y'all tell me a player y'all remember from Colorado prior to Shedeur.
Cordell Stewart.
Okay, that's how long ago was that, Bobby?
It was 25 years ago.
Thank you. That's my point. It's like Dion, and he's in every commercial. He's gonna be in all of those commercials leading up to everything. And there's going to be a documentation that leads into that. A document or some kind of camera that is always following. There is a larger than life shadow from his dad. I mean, if you look at it on the same way that teams didn't want to draft Bronny because he came with LeBron. Teams didn't want to draft
I think that was his
LeBron.
Come on now. Bronny had no business in the draft. He got drafted because of his father. He averaged 4 points a game. He had no business. That's a whole separate one. He had no business being drafted, to be honest.
But okay, so even take that. Would you even want to sign Bronny on your affiliate team because LeBron is coming with that and all of that brings?
For ticket sales, I would. Yeah, for ticket sales, I would.
Yeah. I mean, are you really hearing ticket sales are going through the roof? They're not for Bronny and whatever the G League that he's in. So, like, to me, I don't know if people are, and I think our cousin said it earlier, this was kind of a perfect storm that I think it was. And I think there was some elements of race. I think there was a large element of humbleness, and it is a gigantic element of a boys club. We will let who we want in when we want to let them in. And if they bend the knee, all right, we'll give them the keys to the kingdom. But if they don't, no, we're going to show them, our ass to kiss.
All right. Holly, what do you have to say, Holly? I don't think she's here right now. All right, Ronnie, go ahead. Ronnie, can't hear you. Can't hear you, Ronnie. Can't hear you. Ronnie? All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Oh, is Ronnie on there or no? Okay.
Yeah, no, can't hear him.
I have so many emotions over since the whole NFL draft. Let's just start with the fact that I really just started watching football maybe 4 years ago. I was never really been a big football fan. So I never even watched the draft. And the only reason I watched the draft was to see where Shedeur was going. Never watched college football until Prime went over to college football. So I think the ratings and the people who never watched the draft this year. So there's money to be made. And I'm almost with Ronnie with the conspiracy thing. How many people actually actively watch preseason? Like, I bet you we're going to watch the Cleveland Browns are going to capitalize on this because I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. So first of all, that's our nemesis. We hate the Cleveland Browns, right? But I will be watching every single one of their games because I want to see what he's going to do. Because the other young man, he got drafted. They got 2 rookie quarterbacks over there. Everybody's going to be watching to see what are these guys going to do? Who's really going to show up? Who's really going to be their franchise quarterback in the future or whatever the case may be. But as far as the father in the whether or not he got drafted in the first, second, third round, initially I was so mad with Prime. I'm like, this is Prime's fault. He should have told his son. He should have groomed him. He's been there. He knows what the situation is. And then as you go on, you're like, well, if it's your son, what would you have done? You want the absolute best for your children. And then to see the Mannings have done the same thing, like you said a little earlier, even more so. So then you say, oh, well, is it because they're of color? that we're having these issues. So I just got a whole lot of emotions. Me personally, I hope Shedeur goes over to the Browns. And even though there
That's not
are number
true.
one, I hope he shows them what he's made of. Him going in and and we can only speculate because we weren't there, but people were saying that he didn't show up to try out or whatever it's called for the combine. He didn't go, or some of the teams were calling him and he wasn't even taking their calls, or like you said, he showed up with his music playing on with his headphones. Yeah, he needed some humble pie. And you got to think, by them drafting him so late, they ain't got to pay him either. They got him. He was at Neiman Marcus price. Now he down at Target price. When you the big scheme of things, they got them a really good quarterback that they can mold and shape for almost nothing. When you in the big scheme of things. So
and cut if he don't work out, and the cut and it won't cost him anything if it don't work out.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing to my point, though.
How it's all gonna come out in the wash. And this preseason is gonna be the most. It's gonna be must see TV for the Browns.
And just so you know, that he has the number one selling jersey of all rookies.
There you go.
Yeah, he's number one selling jersey of all rookies.
It's a lot of people watching and waiting to see. So you know, it's gonna be must see TV for preseason. But most people don't even watch preseason for real. But Browns gonna have they ratings going up, guaranteed. But that's just my 2 cents.
Ronnie, you got something you want to say real quick? I gotta get to Uncle Shay. Can he hear you? No, we still can't hear him. We can't hear him at all. All right, we're gonna switch the subject of Sister Wu. Would you like to talk about this, or would you just want to go to the next subject? It's up to you.
Sure, I'll join the conversation. Hello, everybody.
Welcome, and have a seat on the couch.
So, I'm talking about Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah, no, we're about to start Shannon Sharpe now. If you're ready to talk about Shannon, I got a little quick video for that real quick, just to catch people up on what's going on with it. If not,
because I don't know anything about the draft other than go Birds.
All right, go Birds. All right. So anyway, we about to switch subject here. We're going to go into what happened with Shannon Sharpe, and he is being sued for $50 million for allegedly. Again, all of his allegedly raping a young woman in her early 20s now. He met her when she was 19 at the gym, and he started a relationship. This was 2 years ago. She was 19. He was 54. And apparently they like some kinky sex, role playing and choking and dog collars and all kinds of stuff. And she is suing him. She said that he has raped her multiple times. The last one was in it was in January of this year. Actually, the last one was January of this year. She said that she was raped by him. He is obviously denying everything. So I have a video just to show you. He has put out some text messages showing that their relationship was just kinky, sexual. With she has said in there, "I want your black babies." She has said he has said stuff like I want to be choked while you doing stuff from different positions. So let's watch the video and
anything I
go
say,
from there.
you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, no, have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice.
LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
All right. So I think we're all caught up. Sister Wu, I'm gonna give you the floor first to sit on the couch and go ahead. Go.
I feel like it's a setup. I feel like this is orchestrated. I feel like he does have a huge part in this because a man as grown as he is has no business having this type of relationship with someone under, I'll say 30.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my feeling on it. I think it's interesting to me how these celebrities, athletes, whoever they are, when they get in trouble, then they want to be transparent and have the love and respect of their family and friends and all of that. Like, where was all of that when you were having this conversation with Gabby, Carly, all of the people on OnlyFans, whoever? So yeah, it's sad that a man in his position allowed himself to be taken advantage of like this because he doesn't understand where to draw the line. But I think I may get some flack for saying this. These new girls are way out of pocket. And I feel like this is becoming a trend. Like if you look at Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, he's like 105 and she's 12. Like, what do they have in common other than something physical and her trying to take advantage of him? Like, that's literally elder abuse. So that's my whole thought on this whole situation.
Yeah, I think I think one of the things that makes me say is the simple fact that she was she alleges that she was raped January of this year. There is no way that the statute of limitations did not run out on that. You can sue and press charges at the same time. It's not one or the other. So I just have, it makes me wonder, why would you not press charges on him for raping you and just only seek money? Only seek money, because you could have still got the money with by pressing charges as well. Easy, I'm gonna give you the floor first. Because you just chimed in, came in for this specifically. Welcome to the couch again. And what do you think about this Shannon Sharpe situation?
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just listened to that one video and I put in the chat, like, if you don't want to get choked, you don't hang the fucking phone up. Like, what are we talking about here? And if how many times she get raped? You ain't gotta rape me but one time. I'm sorry. Like
One time.
Like what are we doing here? And I get victim mentality.
In a pooper shoot too. He said raped in a pooper shoot.
Okay, but again, how many times it had to happen before you like, okay, this is a bad person, right? And
Yeah.
the whole recording thing, again, there's a lot of stuff, and Shay should be smarter than this. I don't know what he doing, but anyway, hang up the fucking phone. This is like DL Hewley said. Oh, you getting bullied? And like, what happened on the internet? Man, close your computer. Shit, what the fuck are we doing here? Close your computer. Hang up the phone. You don't got to talk to Shannon Sharpe. Is he gonna kidnap you? Like, okay. And later on, I'll talk about from the other side. But I'm just saying, right now, that's my first emotions on this. All right, over to y'all.
Yeah. All right, Kwame, I want to give you a chance to talk. It's been a minute since you got on. What do you feel about this Shay thing?
Man, it's crazy, man. I do believe it's a shakedown, but at the same time, man, you just think guys in that arena are so much smarter than being that. It's kind of rough, man. Those guys, and I'm just saying, like, from the celebrity standpoint, but this ain't got to be celebrity, it's just in life. But these are the same guys that give all the seminars about like rookies and young athletes, and I'm talking about, they brag about it. They brag about being mentors to kids, how to deal with their money, how not to get caught up, and I just think it's just one of those things where, like, it's really sad, but at the same time, you can kind of get into the 55, 19-year-old type deal. Like someone mentioned, like the Belichick and whatever her name is, whatever. I just think it's crazy. I think it's stupid. I think it's crazy. It's so much that can be said, but the bigger part is, like, on one end, for Shannon Sharpe, if it was happening to someone else, he'll be on this platform talking about them like crazy. And so it's kind of hard to have sympathy or even empathy for a guy that get paid on, I ain't gonna say beating other people down, but definitely putting their business out there. You know what I mean? So, I just, you think it'd be smarter, but hey, from a guy who got a 22-year-old daughter, that if she told me she was on the phone with a 50-year-old dude, you just have to wonder about, man, where your head at, dude? What you thinking? What's really going on? So, it's all allegations. I just say,
all alleged.
kind of like my wife said, I'm gonna say my prayers for those I think that need them. I'm gonna just let that shit just ride in the sand, bro.
Absolutely. Keith, welcome to the couch once again. This subject brought you to the couch, and have a seat and tell us what you're thinking. No voice. Nope, still can't hear you.
No go.
No, we
No
can't
go.
hear you.
That's it.
Here we go.
That's it?
Got you now.
Okay, I might have it on mute. But hey everyone. I just I have no sympathy for no sympathy for Shannon. Dude, you 50 plus, no sympathy. I'm right there with Kwame. You're supposed to be mentoring other young adults and stuff like that. For me personally, I'm a conspiracy theorist. So I'm thinking that, he had this big old thing about him being a little gay. So I think he wanted to put some press out there that, he's not. So he had these little scandals. You had that little one where he's talking to the girl and all that. This was probably supposed to be one of those too. But he put himself out there.
Well,
and now they took advantage of him.
So doing the research on it, this girl and another girl thought that they was exclusive with him. And when the video of or the Instagram thing happened of him, doing his thing on Instagram, that pissed both of them off. The other woman is suing him for something too. I don't know what. I got to look that up to see exactly what it was. But this one started to break off the relationship, and that's when things started rocky with her, is because she found out she wasn't the only one. It wasn't exclusive. So because I think the Instagram thing was definitely a stunt. Something he did to get clicks and stuff like that. So it's backfired big time on him. All right, Ryan, I'm gonna give you a chance to see if your mic working again. What do you think, bro? We can't hear you. It's one of those days, huh, Ronnie? We can't hear you at all. Can't hear. All right, Holly, what you thinking?
Look, I am like on two, like I'm straddling the fence. One, Shannon Sharpe, he a single guy. He do what he do. It's consensual. She is an adult in all contents. She's an adult. It's a shakedown. She definitely trying to get paid. I mean, January. But then I look at it at point that's somebody's daughter. You know what I'm saying? And he is a. So I'm kind of on the fence with this one. But I will say, Cat Williams warned him.
And Monique.
And that these white women can take you down in 2 weekends, and I be doggone. Look where he's standing at now. So I hope everything comes out in his favor. I think that she's recording him with this, so that there's some ulterior motives with all of this. I don't think it is warranted. Like somebody said, I think it was Eddie. This happened in January. He done raped you several times. How you keep going back to the rapist? That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Zero sense.
Zero sense to me. Hopefully he's learned his lesson at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because there was something they did a few months ago where he was on a video.
That's the Instagram.
So there was every time you look up, you would have thought he would have learned his lesson from that, but now he caught up in some more crap. So.
But that's the thing. I think the Instagram thing was definitely a stunt. I think that was set up. That he set that one up to get the clicks and get more, get out there even more.
And that was right after everybody was talking about he was gay. So that came out after that. Yeah. So and now you got this, and he's smart. He's very intelligent. He knows what he's doing. So I'm kind of on both sides of the fence with him. I do believe that she is trying to shake him down, getting money. And then if he was 100% in his wife, and I don't know, I heard that he offered $10 million settlement and everything to take it. So if I'm innocent, I'm not offering you no settlement. So it's
I've done heard I'm gonna have you next year, Bobby, in a second. I've heard a lawyer come on and he said it's really a formula. They're saying if they're suing for 50, if you think is a 10% chance that she could win, so that's 5. And then you add on there, I'm gonna cost you 8, so that's at 13. You can get out of this for 10 and call it a day, and nobody hears about it. So it's one of those things that even if you know you didn't do it, it may be just easier to settle and get out of there and not have it get out publicly and just be done with it. So that's what happened. That's what I was heard from a lawyer.
Can I ask a question, Bob, real quick? Has anybody seen the video?
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't think it ever came out. I think he kind of may have shut it out by saying it's going to come out type thing, because the lawyer has said now that no, that's evidence and he's saving that for the trial and everything. He's not bringing it out now. So I think he was going to bring it out until Shannon said he's about to bring it out.
Hey, but don't they have text messages that they like doing that type of stuff?
Yes. So they have. Yeah, they got text messages of it definitely was started as a consensual relationship. Right. Definitely started as that, without a shadow of a doubt. And she's not even denying that. She's not saying that it wasn't consensual. She said they dated for 2 years. Right. And once the Instagram thing came out last fall, is when things started to turn, and then she started seeing the different side of him, is what she's claiming in all alleged, all in this lawsuit.
Didn't it also come out too where he was paying her for different things?
I don't know if it came out as he was paying her. I know she put in one of the text messages is $25,000 per cheek, but I think there was something out there saying that I think he bought her some boobs or something. I'm not 100% on that, but I think somebody was saying that he bought her some boobs after he first met her or something. I'm not. I saw this all. I'm not 100%
I think there's a thing where he flipping to the point that it was consensual, but at the same time there was going to make him look kind of crazy, but still get him out. Well, almost kind of make her from a OnlyFans prostitute. I think that was a flip as well.
Yeah, and I think it was sleazy of him to bring her name out and doing all of that, saying that she from OnlyFans. Right. Also, people in showbiz says that his coming out of the because he's been in talks with her for a while about mediation, about trying to settle this beforehand. Him coming out, him coming out and saying that he had this deal for 100 million for his podcast, that dropped right before the lawsuit became public. And they're saying that was part of his publicity to get it out there that she's money grabbing before, for money, to make it seem like she knows this is a whole setup. So he number one, he shouldn't have put himself in that situation. I do know also that he tried to get her to sign 3 different NDAs that she refused to sign, which should have been assigned to him. That hey, come on now, what's going on here? Bobby V, what you think?
Come on. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, come on now. You 50 years old, she 19 years old. What are we doing? Right, first of all, she's an OnlyFans model, so clearly her standing is already low enough to where she wants to sell her body for money, right? We're already at that point, right? Now you're offering her 10 million to just take the money and leave, right? Leave the situation. And she denies that. Now it might be something deeper. Who's a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old who denies $10 million for nothing? For nothing. For having a consensual relationship. Now you're denying $10 million for no reason. Now that's when the conspiracies of, okay, this is deeper, might be targeting, yada, yada, yada comes in, because they're denying 10 million. At the same time, bro, you're 55 years old, bro. She's 19. What are we doing? If 19 is not the cutoff, then where is 18? If 18 is not the cutoff, then what's a birthday? You know what I'm saying? Like what are we? Yeah. We're arguing semantics at this point, and Bill Belichick is not off the hook either. All right, Jordan Hudson being 24 years old, you're 73. I mean, we're talking about a Shannon Sharpe worth of difference here. All right, and
that's elder abuse.
Like this is insane at this point. Like we're going around in circles, and the fact of like he's too old, she's too young. He's trying to pay her to give her money, and she's saying no. At the same time, why is she not pressing charges on him? If he's a serial rapist and you have all this evidence to get your money and get you paid, then why is he not in handcuffs? Yeah. If you're hurt this much to where $10 million is not enough, you're hurt to the point to where you need to see justice. I'm not here for the money. I'm here speaking up for the young women who's going through this all over the world. Okay, cool. But why is he not in handcuffs? Why is there no police report? Why is there no incidents of police being called to the house? You know what I'm saying? So now we go deeper into the conspiracy of, no, this is something deeper. Somebody's pulling strings. Somebody's advising her and advising her advisors on what to do. You know what I'm saying? To bring down something like Shannon Sharpe. And that's when you had the people saying on the TikTok comments and in the podcast is saying, Cat Williams warned you. Monique warned you, you know? So that's my 2 cents on it. It's just all ridiculous.
Yeah. Good points. TC, welcome to the couch once again. How do you feel about this Shannon thing?
Hey man, no comment at all, man. There's 2 people. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it. You know, I'm waiting for sinners. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. All right. We're about to talk about sinners here in a little bit. But I just to recap the Shannon thing, I think he obviously made a serious mistake dealing with this young girl. I mean, and that's the problem to begin with. He shouldn't have been dealing with her to begin with. I don't see how you can have something in common with somebody that's 19 when you're 54 years old. It's just not going to be there. So all right. Does anybody else want to finish off before we start on Sinners? Hey guys, if you haven't seen Sinners yet, just to let you know, we are going to talk about it here shortly. So we're about to recap the movie itself and talk about it and go into it. So if anybody, before we get to Sinners, if anybody else got anything else about Shay or TC, if you want to talk about Shedeur for a second before we go to Sinners. I know Philly Woo is about to get out of here. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. TC, but go ahead if you got something to say about Shay or anything before we about Shedeur before we go to Sinners. We about to get there.
Nothing to add, man. You guys covered it all. I'm with you. The Browns about to capitalize.
All right. All right. So let's get to it. All right. Our last subject of the day. We're going to talk about the movie Sinners. I went and seen it the opening weekend. It was outstanding. The cinematography, um the acting, the score, it was all just an outstanding movie. I didn't tell my wife that it was a vampire movie until literally right before I was going in. She's like, "It's a vampire movie? Oh, you haven't seen it yet, Holly? Oh, though. All right. All right. Yeah, get on out of here. Again, anybody, if you haven't seen it yet, please go see it as soon as possible. Holly, well, we can talk about it later. We can do a recap in a few weeks about it.
Certainly. I just want to say once again, thank you. This platform is amazing. It's the highlight of my week, literally, Ship. It really is.
Oh,
I'm getting
thank
off work, trying to
Thank
make it in and to get on this podcast
Thank
with
you.
you. So keep doing
You're
great
going
things, Ship, for real.
you're going to enjoy next week's. Matter of fact, let me talk about next week's subject already. Because we're getting ready for barbecue season and everything. And so the next subject is going to be about who is invited to the barbecue. So we're going to bring up, is Kanye invited? Is Candace Owens
Okay.
invited? Is Amorosa
Saquon
invited?
now.
Saquon. Now we got those Saquon on the list. Is Saquon
Okay.
invited to the barbecue?
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good subject.
Jalen Hurts invited to the
It's going to be a
barbecue.
lot of fun. Jalen definitely invited. Jalen is definitely invited, and there's a twist to it. You can be invited, but I can let you come to my barbecue, but you don't bring nothing. You can bring some sodas. You can't cook anything. You can't bring anything. So we want to know who can bring the potato salad.
Okay.
I want to know who could be. I'm gonna tell you one right now that I know can bring the potato salad, and that's Michelle Obama. She can bring the potato salad. I trust Michelle. But we're gonna get in all that next week.
Well,
So that's
I
next
will
week's
be here,
subject.
same back channel, same back time. Again, thank you. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
the
Yes,
platform.
ma'am.
I
Yes,
appreciate the
ma'am.
dialogue. The rest of y'all have a great rest of the week and an awesome weekend.
All right. Let's get this Sinners on. All right. So like I said, it was outstanding. I'm gonna give the floor to you guys first. Keith, have you seen the movie
Oh, I
yet?
loved it. I loved it. I'll go see it with anybody. I love it that much. It just, I love it
Okay.
for the fact that you can see it with different people and they see things different ways. So many plots and storylines. It's wonderful. To me, it's a theatrical masterpiece. So I'm putting it out there for everybody. So it's very good, very good.
Yeah,
So if y'all want to talk about any part of it, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, we're about to get into so first off, TC, I'm gonna give you a chance since that's what you want to talk about. Tell me how you felt about Sinners and let's go.
Hey man, I'm with Keith, man. I thought it was an excellent piece. It was an excellent performance by the actors, actresses, everybody involved, man, did a great job, man. And for it to be an original piece is phenomenal, man. So it was a great movie. I'm gonna go see it 2, 3, maybe 4 more times. And I will buy it when it comes out on Apple TV. So I like it that much.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you because I don't really buy many movies at all. I don't buy any at all,
Yeah.
honestly. But I think I will definitely buy this to support it. It was just the emotions it gave me. From the beginning of the movie, I was angry. Seeing the sharecropping, seeing us pick cotton, it just brought back. For me, the first thing it just brought anger, just like, I can't believe that's what our people had to do, and it just made me angry. It gave you laughter, when Michael B. First off, let me just say this: Michael B. definitely deserves an Oscar nod to me. I think he deserves an Oscar nod.
2
He
times.
was phenomenal in that movie. I think Ryan deserves an Oscar nod for directing. The score, like I said, again, was top notch. Movie Jones, I see that you're on here. If you don't mind, I would love for you to come on and join the pod if you can get a chance to. But it was just so top notch. Everything about it, the sadness of what was going on, no, don't do that. The suspense of everything. Keep going. What what were some of the major things that you like to highlight?
Just the screenplay. It should get Oscars in almost all the categories. Just the idea how they. I don't know if y'all went and looked at how they filmed Michael B. Jordan playing two roles. You got to go look at that.
No,
go look that up. They talk about it, how
Okay.
they have this special camera and how they do a scene over it. It's phenomenal. That first scene
Really?
when they come out throwing passing that cigarette among each other, that scene right there is probably the top in movie history. Just passing that from one person to another. That's only one person playing both. That's phenomenal stuff here. And just the story, you touched on how it's a vampire movie and everything. It's also a love story, a historical piece.
It is.
It's so many different things in one. It's like my wife just said on the chat there. I want to go see it again because I'm sure I missed a lot of things that were on there. And that's what I love about a movie. Like, man, I missed that. I want to see it again. I want to miss that. So it's just phenomenal to me, man. Just I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick, did you get a chance to see it?
No, unfortunately, I didn't. I'm listening. That's what's gonna make me want to go see it, though. But
Phenomenal,
but
man.
I will say that everybody that I've spoken with that has seen it has told me how awesome it is and how they encourage. It's like they want everybody to go see it because it really is a good draw, good plot, and all those things that it was already described in that everybody else had already mentioned.
Yeah, it was just an outstanding movie all around. Just phenomenal.
Hey, Kim.
There is.
I'm sorry.
I was okay. There. I do have somebody that's watching the pod today. He goes by Movie Jones, and it's actually his YouTube page as well, and he does reviews of movie. And he did an excellent review of Sinners. If you get a chance to watch it, again, it's Movie
Come
Jones.
check
If you
this
get a
out
chance
real
to watch
quick.
it.
You want to give a review on Sentence about how you didn't like it? Because you'll be the
Maybe next time we can get him on to give us a review of one of the movies that we all get a chance to see. But it was just really, really, really outstanding. Hold on, we have somebody else that wants to come in. What's up, Frank? How you doing? Welcome to the pod. This is your first
What up,
time.
Chef?
What's going on?
Ain't nothing.
We're reviewing Sinners. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Not yet. I'm gonna go peep it. I've heard it's really, really good. I haven't peeped it yet. Got a lot going on, so
Okay. Understandable. It really is outstanding. It really, really, really is.
and even if it's not, I'm gonna go support it because Ryan Coogler. I'm gonna support the brother.
Yeah. It's really an outstanding movie. Easy, did you get a chance to watch Sinners?
Bro,
He's not answering. Easy.
bro, I was there the first weekend. Yes. So
Okay.
I logged off for a minute. So y'all just started it? What
Yeah, we just started talking about it. Yeah, we just started about 5 minutes ago.
layered. That's all. That's when I text y'all in the chat, I was like, it's so layered that it's crazy. The music, if you in that music and something don't move in that movie, and you hear that music and something don't move in your spirit, man, it was freaking primal. The music alone just sold me on the movie, and it was a good show. And there's so many things about how the lady. We good on spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna spoilers. Everybody, I let everybody know that if you're watching this, you be prepared for spoilers because we're gonna talk about it. We're talking about the movie. So
You're not gonna ruin
go
it
ahead.
for me.
Oh man,
All right.
so
No, you're not gonna ruin it at all.
Well, we gotta let you go because he said we was gonna let people talk about it.
Okay.
So yeah. So like I said, come on back next week. We're gonna be talking about some more stuff. We're gonna talk about the barbecue. Who's invited to the barbecue? But we're gonna finish off
Not them folks.
for the rest. Yeah, no. We got a whole list of people that we're gonna talk about. Yeah, we got a whole list of people we're gonna talk about. But I'll see you next time, Palmer. Appreciate it,
All
bro.
right.
And keep watching.
Yep.
If you can't go to my YouTube and like and subscribe, I really appreciate
What's
it,
the
man.
YouTube?
Thank you so much. I'm gonna post it in you on Facebook. I'm gonna post it on Facebook right now.
All right. I got you.
All right, man, appreciate it. Thank you.
So
All right, go
yeah.
ahead,
So
Easy.
what's the consensus, Keith? What you think about it? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, thumbs up for sure. Thumbs up. The movie had like, just think of all the things that it had in there. You got love. The movie probably had 4 different endings. Is it good? The good win? The evil win? And is it voodoo versus spirituality? And they brought back the old school vampire. Like, you have to invite them in. You know how we have all these new vampires, Twilight, they all in the sun, in the sun twin. This is the old school, how you read the book way back in the 1800s about the vampire, how you brought all that back. And then that scene, that with the dance scene, you almost have to tell people in advance, because my daughter went out to see it and she didn't get that scene where he was playing the guitar and brought all the spirits from the front, from the past, and the future. You got to hear him say that, because if you don't, you're all confused. Because if you miss him saying, the music brings the soul from,
they said in the beginning in the
program. They say it, but if you miss it, man, it'll confuse you. So to me, it's just wonderful. Like you say, the score, the music, it just brings back all the memories from the past for me. It conjures it up all for me. Ryan Coogler for the win, man. Ryan Coogler is phenomenal, man.
And I told people, I was like, listen, if anything, what's name came with the Killmonger swag. I mean, Michael B. Jordan, he came, man. The characters were so freaking. They could have been the same person, but they were twins. But
they were so diverse. One so chill, smooth. The other dude just. I call him. He was me. Because Smoke is me. I'm ready to kill at all times. At all times, I'm coming with Smoke. Literally, that's naming him Smoke was just perfect. Yeah, that's the chef kids. Dude, he comes with the smoke.
Yeah. Y'all remember Devil in the Blue Dress or Mouse? That's what they gave me, Mouse. I love that's my favorite character. Like almost one of my top characters, Mouse from Devil in the Blue Dress, man. Easy, you should have left it with me if you didn't want him killed. That's just how he was, right? But I used to I love movies and theater and all that stuff. So it did give me vibes of a play. August Wilson. It gave me that vibe of August Wilson and piano lessons and all the plays that he would do, and talking about the chain gangs and all of that spirituality of that growing up in the South or being raised back in the day. So I was feeling August Wilson. I don't know if y'all familiar with August Wilson, but he's a great playwright. If you don't know him, look him up. They even have in New York, they have a theater named after him. But yeah, man, I just loved it. That's the best movie I've seen in a number of years, and not just because it was black people. But I want to say one point before I turn it over to somebody else. But when you were listening to the vampires, that shit sounded so good. I was like, what?
They were good.
Right? I was like, but why can't we be together? And it sounds so good. I was like, okay, let him in. Shit. I mean, it was so drawing you in. I was like,
Ryan Coogler, he transcended any kind of racism, and he brought the vampires as this don't have anything to do with racism. We just come to get you. Yeah. I love how he did that. He wove that into it.
Right. And then they all had the same mind after that. Right. You had your memories. So that made it more impactful to me, because now you understand my plight.
Right.
Because you have my memories, you hold, my strife and all this stuff. And now you saying, okay, I got you. You come on with us. I was like, go ahead, bro. Bite me.
Go ahead, bite me.
Yeah.
Bite me.
All right, somebody else now.
So I missed. Go ahead, TC.
Well, I know we all on this same train right now because we all love the movie. I got a special treat for you, dog. My wife is sitting right here. Her and my daughter took me to the movie. I'm a cinematographer, as you already know. I do film and all this other stuff. They took me to the movie. Me and my daughter, same page. Loved it. Loved how they tied in the blues music, how we created the genre, that created rock and roll and all that other stuff, hip hop and all that. Loved how they brought it all the way back to that. My wife, on the other hand, who doesn't want to be on camera, she just want to speak to you real quick on the side. I'd like to share why she didn't like the movie. She's not a fan.
Okay,
let's go.
I'm not tucking my tail. I just got out of the shower and I don't have a bra on. That's why I'm not getting on the You just put me into this, or else I would be showing my face. So, full disclosure, I'm biracial. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm coming from that lens. We all bringing our experiences into the situation.
Navy vet too. Navy vet.
Navy veteran. I didn't like it. I don't know if it's the climate that we're in right now, nationwide, the racial climate, but I am over the white bashing horror movie genre that depicts all white people as evil. I don't know what it benefits any of us to kind of go back to Jim Crow era and keep kind of rehashing that. And something that I picked up on that I don't think everybody would, the biracial character in there. Not 100% biracial, right? But
she was the one who started.
Right. She was the one. Okay. This symbolism there. She was the one that could kind of straddle both, sides, went out there with the white people, tried to talk to them, and then introduced the evil into the Black community.
But she kind of came with evil because she was a married person. They sin is also part of the sinning part of it.
I'm just talking about that.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, it introduced these ideas that I do see are gaining in popularity. I've been telling TC about this with Drake. The disrespect that Drake has been getting, biracial, like this, the disrespect I see him getting as a mixed man. Let me cook.
Go ahead.
There is a disrespect that is very easy to be given. And when I see that in this movie, the way that they introduce her story, the symbolism of it, okay, and it is Jim Crow South, okay, I'm giving that. And I'm taking some liberties to extend that to present day. But there are ideas that can be introduced that people do latch on to. I took issues with that.
Like black people being slaves, or
again, I said, I just don't know what it benefits us in present day with all of the racial issues that are going on with real people, with real faces and real names that are out here doing evil, to rehash this from back in the day. Because it just, to me, it just infuriates us more.
Well, if I could do it real quick, he went back to Coogler went back to that time because that's the original birth of the blues back during the slave times when we were singing our blues of being in the field.
Right.
So it's really a musical piece more than a musical historical piece than anything else. So it wasn't.
I don't take it as that.
All right, I'm on the side. It's all you, dog.
All right, I got my biracial here too. She wants to say something about it. We got the biracials in here now.
Yeah. Jonathan, would you like to comment on what she said?
I mean, I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't quite following. I wasn't catching it. I just saw it from my perspective. I think the character knew her privilege. She knew that she could straddle, and that was her way in, both sides really. But I mean, I don't know. It didn't stand out to me as far as her ethnicity or her racial. That part didn't. I mean, I'm just focusing on the movie in general. Just how, like Keith said earlier, it just had so many moving parts to it, and there were so many things that kind of came into play that just made it just outstanding. Just outstanding. I had questions at first because my head kind of tilted when I first saw her. I was like, this woman's Black, and then when she talked about her mother raising them, so I was trying to put it in my head like, okay, so mother, I'm trying to put the pieces together. But yeah, this is definitely a phenomenal movie. I can't wait to go back and check it out and, just rewatch and find the nuggets that I missed.
Can I ask TC's wife about this idea that you see in the movie? Is this, regardless of how you think Ryan Coogler presented the biracial character, what is always upfront and noticeable that needs to be shown often and oftentimes, even though she's portrayed as maybe it brought something in or did something, when she is with the Black people, we are welcoming. That doesn't happen on the other side, where she can't straddle as much on the other side. If they found out an ounce of her was Black, it'd be done. It's done for her. But we know fully on this side that she is white and she's family. And we brought her in the same way. So that is the reason you go back and you talk about the history of things that happened to show how you get there, and how even though we may disagree or not like that she's biracial and we have those stereotypes, us as a people, we are welcoming.
And still as today.
Okay. But see, both of y'all are speaking from, and it's interesting that we have somebody else biracial here. So I'm not going to speak for her experience, but I do find that a lot of Black people speak from mine.
Say it again.
Hold on real quick. Scoot up a little bit to the mic. Go ahead.
A lot of Black people were what? I missed that.
I said I do find that typically Black people do speak from my experience, and it's not always been my experience that it's welcoming on either side, or more welcoming on one side than the other. But I also don't know if they didn't know that she did have Black in her, because she was inside hanging out with them. So how did the white people not know?
Well,
I think she definitely was able to pass. Yeah, she definitely could pass for white. Yeah, in my opinion.
That's another movie.
They mentioned that in the movie. They mentioned that in the movie that
she had a white husband.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the movie.
So, which means to me, which tells me, especially that's in that era, that she was absolutely passionate, because Loving versus VA didn't happen until the 1950s or 60s. I can't remember exactly what year that was. So she couldn't have legally married in the South if she wasn't white on her birth certificate.
Yeah, but these are beings that are in different times of that.
Say again?
I'm saying these are beings that are from a different time frame as well. So I don't know. I don't know if they did know.
Oh, you're talking about the people when she went outside?
I'm talking about the vampire, yes.
Oh, no, vampires don't care. They want everybody.
So yeah, they want everybody.
So vampires don't care.
That is what I'm saying. So they very well did know.
Evil wants everybody.
That she's going to be able to go walk right in without asking.
No, she did ask. She did ask. She asked the big guy, the Cornbread. She asked Cornbread if she could come in, and Cornbread let her in, because Cornbread's like, she's like, you ain't gonna let me, girl. And he said, come on in here, girl. And that's so she absolutely asked. She was not going in. That's why we knew that she had to be a vampire at that point. All right, Movie Jones, I see that you joined in. And like I said, he does excellent reviews on movies. Tell us how do you felt about the movie itself, and then how Teacher's wife felt about it.
Greetings and salutations. Can you hear me first and foremost?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hey, how are you guys? I stepped in just for a hot second. I'm not able to do a live, like a video like I would normally do, because I'm in the middle of like packing. So I got everything and everywhere. But thank you so much for letting me be on here. So here's my quick and dirty take. Everyone's stance in terms of how they look at this picture has a valid point of view because of where they're coming from and how they're seeing it. Some people are going to look for the symbolisms. Some people are going to look for the ideologies, the nuances. Some people are going to make the connections. I look for the story. I look for what was the overarching story about, in the very essence of why we are falling in love with this movie, and for other people why they didn't fall in love with the movie. Did I enjoy it? 1,000,000,000%. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it not because I was looking for certain things and nitpicking it. I wasn't doing that. I went into it because there are certain characters that I think that just draw you in. And Ryan, having worked with him and worked with Michael, when I tell you that they were being their authentic 100% selves, they were being 1,000,000,000% authentic in how they were portraying these characters. The blowout standout to me was Delroy Lindo. I connected with his character a quadrillion%, because here's a man who was ready to give it up, and he was all about his liquor. That was all his idea was. He just wanted to be living his life and, just getting day by day. Yeah. And knowing the history of who these people were, and knowing what their backgrounds were, even for that very slimmer of a capture that they gave, there's a lot of backstory that is so yet to unpack to really give a dynamic as to who these characters really were. Like, I wanted to know more about what happened beforehand. And I posed this question because I'm a vampire dude. I went into it, like I said, because of the story. I just wanted this movie to be better than Nosferatu, and it was. I absolutely could not stand Nosferatu. I loved the cinematography of it. I loved the look. I loved the feel. It was classic, 1000% classic. However, it didn't give me the feels of a vampire. It gave me the feels of a monster. Sinners gave me monster. Like, I need to know the white dude's backstory.
Yeah.
Who the hell bit him?
Natives. Why were the
That's what I
natives
want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
And why were the natives?
Why
Why
was
were
the
the natives after him? That's
What will happen? Because now we can introduce certain elements, like he's in the South. Now, the backstory for this character, briefly from what I understood, is that he's Irish.
Yeah.
So this is a pull from someone that is, because all of the characters that Ryan created, these were pulling from someone that he either read about, from a novel, from a book, or from a movie. The movie was actually inspired by Metallica. Most people don't even know that the movie was inspired by a Metallica song. The name evades me, but it was, there's certain pieces, like he pulled from so many different aspects and elements to make this movie. Classic vampires. Whoever said classic vampires.
Yeah.
Classic vampires.
Classic vampires.
I need you to, this was, I don't want to see, I think if I had to go action, Blade is the #1 movie of all time for action if I had to do a vampire. Screw everything else. Very close to that. If I want to go superhero, very close to that with something very regal and very like a completely different look and aspect of Dracula would be Dracula Untold. If anybody ever seen Dracula Untold, that is a classic, underrated film that should be getting so much flowers because that is a classic, but just upbeat with the effects. But the most of all Dracula films is Bram Stoker's. I was rooting for Nosferatu to be good, but it just didn't hit me for it. It went well cinematography wise and look wise and acting wise. It hit the mark, but it just didn't get me with the landing with the story. Not only that, it didn't give me the landing of me getting my Dracula. I got the Dracula. The Irish dude was the Dracula, and that's the crazy part about it. Because we can curse?
Yeah,
we can curse.
Absolutely.
Who the fuck bit him? Who bit him? Now here's the question I'm going to pose for the people that didn't like it. What if he got bit by a black dude? What if he got bit by a black dude? What was the dynamics be then? Because now, as you understand all of the tropes of vampirism, if you get bit, you are now the servant or subservient of the person who bit you.
Yeah.
You're pretty much their underling. You're their if you want to use Interview with a Vampire as an example, wherever that Tom Cruise went, he followed Brad Pitt's character all over, because there were connections there. So who bit the Irish dude? And would that tell a different narrative of a story? And would we pull tropes that he is now getting this implanted seed of doing this crazy shit by someone that is us, that is one of us, someone who's one of us.
Sounds like a prequel.
But we have, and that's the crazy part, is that there's so many open doors for a prequel and a sequel
both
to go any which direction that they want to.
Yeah.
Because now we understand, because check this shit out. Now we understand that even if the grand if I bit shit, pause, you know what I'm saying? If I'm a vampire and I attack Ship, and he is now my underling, but everyone in the town comes and they attack me, and then I'm X'd out, but Ship still lives, and he's still a vampire. He's got what I have instilled in him to do what I've been wanting him to do. So it travels, it passes on.
Yeah.
And then so on and so forth. So at the end, if we saw the post credit, with Michael B and his Coogee, I was like, that's a great callback to getting the Coogee sweater.
It was.
That was a Biggie nod. That was a nice little Biggie nod.
Yeah.
I looked at it as like, that means that there's a possibility, there's a glimmer that whoever bit the Irish dude is still alive. There's a possibility for that.
Yeah.
A very grand possibility, especially if those two are wandering around whatever for the rest of their lives or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now I will throw in the Haley Steinfeld commentary because I made this point. I was saying that there's something about Haley and something about Michael's chemistry that is just a little bit too much on the nose during interviews, during press conferences, and Haley's married. Haley is either she's engaged or she's married.
It could just be selling it. It got to sell it.
And to the earlier conversation about this whole, and I don't want to relate to it, but it's all entertainment because this is what we do. Entertainment biz, it's all about what you can fit in to make the sale. There's actors that buy roles. I will repeat, there's actors that purchase roles.
Wow.
For films. They will negotiate and buy it. Just so that way they can get in. But we're talking millions.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this doesn't, it doesn't surprise me when I hear about certain things and certain aspects of certain people, but it's your point of view. So the great thing I think about when it comes to Shannon's situation and when it comes to Ryan Coogler's situation, we got one person that knows we got both people that know what they're doing because they're grown. But one chooses to use their good for bettering entertainment. One uses their platform to excel the cinema, to sell the narrative of the story. And that's why we champion for a Ryan Coogler.
Right.
Shannon Sharpe, we're just there just because we just want to be entertained mindlessly, to get away from the BS from normal day to day. It's entertainment. So all this stuff that we see about there, don't listen. They buy shit, they purchase shit, they negotiate shit, they talk about us. By the time we get to the airways, to when we see it and when we get it, they've already hashed that shit out. It's just us getting the last wave of it. People already know who they got casted in certain films. People already know what the deals are beneath the tables. It's all entertainment. It's all about money. So with that sentiment, I think that Ryan is using his platform from the good to tell a story. I don't really look at it because if I go in and start nitpicking about, the nuances, and yes, it's from the South, and yes, we're talking about, those days and the plantation and stuff like that, because that's the story. He could have put that shit in modern times. He could have put that where people are gangsters. He could have put that in, when the two brothers worked for Al Capone. We could have had that story.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Easy dynamic.
They were talking about, I don't know if this was true. I saw something online. They were talking about they have a timeline for Sinners. They have other prequels and a whole little, like the Marvel universe. I don't know if that was true. Did you see that movie, Johns? I don't know. And I was like, man, I'm here for it. They had all the prequels and basically what he was talking about, they were telling the stories of how the white dude, the Irish guy, how he got started. And it was a whole little thing that he set up. I don't know how true it is, though.
I don't know if I'm still here. Am I still here? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm cool. So so there's a prequel. There's the way that Ryan got his deal together. You got to understand that this is a brother who does not get this. This is a brother that not only bet on himself, but the studios didn't think that he would get the monies because yes, he's Black Panther's director. Yes, he's Fruitvale Station. Yes, he's Creed, but he only did the first Creed. He didn't do all of them. He just did the first one, and he just produced the next two. Okay. But you're standing on the heels of someone who's done Black Panther 2, and it really didn't do that business. Like, it didn't do like billions like it did with the first one. But that's okay. The idea is that he's growing and that we've got to have a studio that believes in him. And Warner Brothers took a really big chance of saying, well, if this deal flops, it's coming out of your pocket because you got that Marvel money. And what a craziness that it's still in its third weekend. I don't know how many weekends it still has. The percentage of the drop rate is still so high. It's not even nearly as what like a Snow White. I'll give Snow White for example. Snow White in the second weekend dropped in like 78%, in its second weekend in debut. And this is a Disney movie. This is a Disney joint, a classic Disney joint. 70-something% drop. 60-something% drop. Third weekend, 50% drop. That's not good if you got an IP like that. This is Sinners, an original joint. And with a drop rate of only literally 10% drop for its third or fourth weekend in a row, and an IMAX, which by the way ain't pretty. That's a hefty penny that you paying to go to see that joint in IMAX, either in real IMAX or whatever.
XD, Cinema XD, all that.
I just don't recommend doing it in 40X. Do watch 40X. Watch that in a movie like Avengers or Train Your Dragon or with the kids. But anything else, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But see it on regular IMAX. But yes, they got prequels. They're going to talk about, I would like to see the dynamics of the Smokestack Twins. Yeah, someone said about the smoke that how the names is so meticulous, and that's like it was structured that way. When they were working for Capone, could they be dealing with something supernatural?
Yeah.
She gave him that chain, that necklace that was a voodoo chain. You know what I'm saying? Because that was based off of it wasn't really necessarily voodoo, but it was like that he mentioned something that was the interview where he was talking about how the blues, this jazz player, he goes to the crossroad and he sells himself to what's modern day they call it the devil, but it was actually a shaman or a monk or a voodoo priest who actually gave him. They granted him the ability to play, his guitar for his allegiance for his soul. So they, modern days twisted that all up, but it was really based off of a voodoo shaman, like a man, not a spirit. But anything in essence is still all spiritual. But they're going to talk about that. They're going to talk about the essence of where the guitar came from, because there's a story out there of the symbolism of that guitar and why was it built and constructed with silver. Maybe the guitar player had a run-in with somebody. Who knows? The father, that is, because we never, they only mention it, but we don't know it. We didn't see anything. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys are talking about Michael B getting an Oscar. I'm telling you right now, it's unfortunately he's not going to get. He'll get maybe the nomination, but he's not going to get it. He's too young. He's not going to get it. There's too many people in the line. He's not going to get it. There's too many people in line. He's building. He's got 2 or 3 more movies in him when he's a little bit older, when he's in his 40s, and then he'll get it.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Delroy Lindo,
supporting actor.
Supporting actor.
Supporting actor. He was robbed in the Five Bloods. He was robbed in that.
Yeah.
To getting it, and because he was a standout in that joint. It's the same thing where he was not getting his flowers, and now he's got for Sinners. Now he's going to get his just due. Listen, when Delroy started humming in the car.
Movie John, did you see his interview about that scene and how organic that came about and how he pushed that? Oh my God!
They were like, they don't want nothing. It was like, I gotta feel it, and as an actor,
that's right. I gotta feel it. Yeah,
they just ran it, and that's
they
how
just ran with it. Yeah,
that joint was. I would say 80% of that entire scene was all ad lib.
All ad lib. Yeah.
Mike turned around and looked at the other actor, and he started looking at him and giving that nod, like, "Boy,
do
play,
it. Yeah,
boy,
do
play.
It. Run with
it was in you. That's how you do. That's how hum almost got me teary-eyed. And if you weren't tearing, just for that, screw all the other crap, but just for that, because his story, he's got a true story as to what the hell he's dealt with to get him to that point to be a drunk. How many people that that's in your family that he was a musician?
Yeah.
That's the story there. That's so much of a trope of a story. So I think my standouts is going to be Delroy. 1,000,000,000% he's going to get nominated. And I believe that if he gets nominated, he's going to win it. He deserves it. Actually, he's just due for that. Mike's not going to get it. Haley, she's part Jamaican and she's part Italian. She got some Negro in her.
But her character wasn't that compelling. It was just she was just there. I don't think that's Oscar worthy or
no. But I will say the chemistry is so important when you're dealing with an actor in those type of scenes. And I look at those chemistry of those actors and said, there's a little bit more. That's a lot of amazing energy, friction, chemistry to get those two. and they just poured on and off screen. So it's like, you know,
she had that one line, you gonna steal this P. That was like, I was like, what?
so,
you got me.
So I you know, and I agree with, you know, with some of the people that are having the mindset where they walked into it and then they walked out of it unfulfilled. I get you. It makes sense because your point of view, if that's how you're looking at it, because that's how you're coming at it, it all makes sense if that's how you feel. And we're all right. I'm right on certain things. You're right on certain things. We're all right. But that's what movies do. Movies create the conversation. Yeah. It creates and generates the thought process.
That's right.
It makes you self-reflect about yourself.
Right, like he did.
Exactly. And it's not supposed to, it's really not supposed to jam it down your throat with all this other, you know, DEI BS that, you know, if you're that kind of person, you know, it's not supposed to jam that down your throat, but it is supposed to give you a slight reflection about yourself in the littlest of possible of ways if you come from whatever background, because, oh, the Indians, holy shit, why are they not talked about?
Yeah. My wife.
He left something on the table with that. I felt like that was so unresolved. I was like, why would you even leave that there?
I believe he'll resolve it later.
He teased it, but I was like, that was. I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
Do you all understand? Do you all understand? There is like, there's the Indians alone. I will say the Native Americans, because that's you know, being politically correct. The Native Americans, hunters. I have vampire hunters. Let's get that correct. Native American vampire hunters. Fuck everything else. Vampire hunters. I have never seen that shit before. Have y'all? Have anybody heard of a Native American fucking vampire hunter? Never. With the spirituality that they have from their backgrounds, from all of the, you know, the different tribes. That's tribal. That's all in there. To put a vampire in that shit.
They were awesome. They were awesome. They were the classic FAFO. They said, I come here to warn you.
Yeah.
You don't want it.
Yeah.
Peace. Deal with it.
Right. So I don't, you know, there's so many stories. So we got, you know, potentially there's a series. There's definitely is going to be on Warner Brothers. It's going to be on Max. Definitely. Max is going to be like Ryan. So we think you got a story here for a series. Don't you think you want to talk to us about a series there with that?
Yeah.
Max is probably already got it made.
Yeah.
Listen,
negotiations.
If the negotiation was, I get all rights, you got darn right he's going to fucking do that, because guess what? Right. After that 25 years elapsed, he gets all of that shit. So yes, I want prequels, I want sequels, I want shows, I want animation, I want comic books, I want the whole fucking shebizang, because he's going to get it all back in 25 years. And what? He'll be like, what, 50?
Yeah.
60?
Yeah.
He can be a billionaire off of this.
He'll be a billionaire off of just the Center's IP and whatever he produced after that. So yeah, Warner Brothers is going to be and any studio, honestly, after that, they're really going to be thinking about up and coming African American directors. And I say us of color because we don't get that. Trust me, there are deals that are getting it. Happy Gilmore, he's got it with Netflix. He can get that shit.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. I mean, come on, it's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise can get that shit. He's got a fucking office. He's got a fucking office in Paramount. He just walks in, sits down. He's an actor, god darn it, an actor producer. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. They try to make a big deal of his deal though. Yeah. But like he said, you know, there's other people who's gotten this deal before me. So
exactly.
Why are we talking about it now? Why is it in a conversation?
Because it's unheard of, and for those that are not in Hollywood, and for those that are filmmakers, wonderful. I'm a filmmaker as well, so shout outs for all the filmmakers that's in the room. Shout outs for the creators that's in the room. But Hollywood has, you know, they do these deals all the time, wheeling and dealing. But it's going to be for the best interest, of course, for the studio. But it's very unheard of for an African American that is of his age caliber. Well, he's like 30, 35-ish or something like that.
Yeah.
For him that young to get that deal, to get the 25 years plus whatever, if he owns it, He gets merch. Fucking, you could go to the theaters and get whatever the merch. He's getting that piece.
And then they say that he got a percentage that he also gets his percentage comes off the top. So before
He
yeah,
gets the gross, not the
he
net.
gets the gross,
Exactly.
not the net.
He
Yeah.
gets the gross. So think about this. He is, in actuality, in the conversation, Ryan is the conversation talk piece of a Steven Spielberg, and a fucking George Lucas. He's a Francis Ford Coppola, even though Francis is old as balls. But I'll just say Steven Spielberg and a George Lucas. George Lucas for A, and Steven, really, because they are IP giants. And Christopher Nolan, that's the other one. Christopher Nolan, who he
Tarantino.
mentioned.
Tarantino.
Tarantino is Tarantino. We're talking giants. I mean, I'm not saying that Tarantino's not a giant, but he's not. There's pillars. Steven is up there. Spike Lee is up there. Christopher Nolan's up there. George Lucas for sure. But we're talking about not just because of your creativity, but your IP and what it's worth, the weight of it. Sinners is an IP weight. Sinners in Star Wars, A New Hope.
Can you say what IP means? What does IP mean for those who don't know?
IP is intellectual property. So, for instance, Star Wars, I will say if you are anywhere that's in the known universe and you were a child and you grew up and you had a lightsaber in your hand, that is an intellectual property of a main franchise, i.e. Star Wars. So it's a brand. It is a part of a larger functioning machine for grossing money. That's all. There you go. George Lucas gets a piece of that, even though he's doing nothing for fucking Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
He still gets a cut of what you got in your hand. Shit, I've got a lightsaber blender.
There you go.
That's what it is. My whole bathroom is Star Wars down before I got to move. But I will say that he is now, Ryan, he's already gotten if he did his trilogy with Creed, he would have had a trilogy. But that's okay. He didn't do the trilogy. That's fine. But he's building up to his Star Wars. And as filmmakers and as people that love this business and love this movie making, sometimes you got to have a Star Wars written, ready to go. Give the sacrificial babies of all your other projects just so that you're on the map. You're going to love it. You're going to nurture it, but you got to let it go. It's going to grow up. It's going to be an adult. Let it go out the house. But Star Wars, everybody dreams of having their Star Wars franchise, their IP. And Sinners is A New Hope. Watch the smoke for the next Sinners. I don't know if they'll call it Sinners 2. Maybe they'll call it something else.
Yeah.
But that'll be his Empire Strikes Back.
Before we were sinners.
There you go.
That's it.
That would be prequel.
That's a hard prequel. Yep. Before we were
hard prequel. But if he's doing now, next he's not really focusing on Sinners 2 or whatever. He's focusing on X-Files, which is a great opportunity. But that's still, that's still under his tool belt because now he's marketable. So now we can expect the Sinners whatever. Yes, he's doing X-Files. He will be doing X-Files. Along with, I think he is still writing for the series for Marvel's for his Black Panther series because he's still got the Black Panther to helm, which is I think down the road because no one really want to touch that shit. Nobody in Marvel wants to touch anything that's doing well and fuck it up. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think he really is going to concentrate on his baby, get that X-File money so he can make his next Sinners joint. That's where my thought process is. So it's something that we should study. Don't go into the movies, and it is such a crucial element, and I want to be sensitive on how I say this because everyone's point of view is correct. But go in it for the story. Going it with the intention of what am I getting out from the story? And I try not to be, because I could be just as pissed off as seeing a sharecrop scene and all that stuff and seeing the okie doke shuck and jive. And how about the chick that was freaking the married chick, but she was letting homeboy do it.
Yeah.
What does that say about the sanctity of Black women in marriage? And if I was really going to go in hard with that, we could. Yeah. But there's, but I know that that's the story because that was the sign of the times what happened at that time frame. I get it. I wasn't really focusing on that. I focused in on how they gonna survive. How old boys are gonna sit there and be like, well, ain't you gonna let me in? I mean, there's so many memes and so many AI videos that are out there that's doing the current, the Muppets joints. They're so hilarious, but it's like that's how much it is affecting our day to day. That this type of movie would give us that kind of that type of talk.
I got a question
want to
for
go
you,
and
Ship.
watch it.
I got a question for you, Ship. You know how Movie John said his character, he loved the Delroy Lindo, and I'm the Smoke character. I wonder about everybody else. Who do you gravitate to, Ship? And I'm curious about that.
Very good question.
I'm
Very good question.
I'm all smoke.
Wow. I would probably gravitate to, I can't think of his name, the cousin, the one that was playing the guitar. What was his name? Sammy.
Okay.
I think I would be more Sammy because I can see myself being him as a kid, learning with my big cousins and their back and having their back in and just learning and watching them being able to go out there on his own, trying to make it, trying to create his own for himself as far as being an artist and stuff like that. So I think that would have been the character that I would gravitate to.
Being his own man. Yeah.
That grab and then the whole getting to the button that was hilarious to me when that was hilarious to me. So definitely Sammy.
I was like, man, wait till Sammy get to that button, dog. Just wait.
What about you, TC? What you thinking?
Well, I was going to say Sammy as well, only because he had to learn his lessons the hard way. His father told him all what to do, right from wrong, but he had to learn the hard way. And that was me growing up, man. So I thought it was interesting. Also, on a side note, that this story takes place about the blues, about music, and how music captivates and can control you and stuff like that, along with the vampires. I like you guys to revisit the Kendrick Lamar GNX reincarnated first verse, and knowing that Ryan Coogler, and Kendrick are real good friends. Check that out and just see if it hits different for you this time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. I will do that.
Side note, when you see Michael B on screen, that is exactly how he looks in person, exactly to the T. So it's like, how there's some people when you look at them and you see them in person, it's kind of like an underwhelming feeling. It's like, oh, I thought you were taller. Oh, I thought you were bigger. Like, I was shocked to see Sylvester Stallone, because we're all in Philly. So, if you're in the business, you're going to see, these characters if you're in these projects, but I was shocked to see, like, holy crap, he's really short and really stocky. But I was amazed how short he was. But Mike, when I tell you, he is exactly the same person that you see on screen as you see in real life. It is mind-boggling that it's like, holy shit. Yeah. He don't look different. That's what's up. No fakeness. So pretty much no fakeness. So there's authenticity. And when I tell you that Ryan is such a cool cat, I remember when he just had braids, when he did Creed, the first Creed. His stutter is crazy, but when he's excited, he's like on point. But his stutter, when he's like calm and relaxed, is I like that.
Michael Stutter?
Coogler, Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler,
Ryan has he got a stutter on, but it's like, that's a genius at work when you guys.
That is a genius. That's a genius at work.
For sure.
But it's I champion this film. I urge anyone and everybody, even if you want more stories, if you want more projects like this,
support.
This now sends a signal to Hollywood to say they want these kind of films. So don't be surprised if you start seeing other films kind of like Sinners, kind of like this phenomena, but it's going to be watered down. So you just don't want to be 52 fake out for to be drawn when you really want to see something that is has someone who put some thought into it. So while I want to support it, I just want to be cautious and be mindful of the fact that we don't want Tubi type of films because that's what Hollywood looks at. And then they start thinking that that's what we all are and what we all believe and how we all think and how we all speak and all this other jazz.
I think that's the genius of Ryan Coogler. That's why he had the character, somebody playing two characters. You got the technical asset, you got the story asset, you got the music. He has so many layers. I don't think they can reproduce it without the mind of somebody like Ryan Coogler. So they can try to imitate it, but he did so much with it. It's you can't imitate it unless you got that mind like that.
The Batman and Robin duo is Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Without those two elements to combine, I really don't think you would have had that much of a successful of a story. And I enjoyed Creed 2, but it wasn't the same magic as Creed 1. I like Creed 3, but it wasn't the same magic as it was with Creed 1. Because there's just something about those two that they finish each other's sentences. I think it's an incredible duo. But I'm gonna shut the hell up. But because we can, I do this stuff all the time, so I'm very gracious and thankful. I'm gonna be quiet, but go get Sinners. I don't care how you do it, what you gotta do it. Buy it on Apple. I don't have no affiliation. I ain't getting paid no whatsoever. Hell, I really wish that Ryan Coogler would, slide me a couple of ducats, ship a couple of ducats.
He said ducats.
You went way back in. Way back in that movie, John.
Reach back.
We classy. Say we got our pinky fingers up and stuff, right? But but please, I would actually like to see a character that is not so much where they are the cause of the shit. I really would like to see I would like to see a Haley Steinfeld's character to be redeemed rather than the person that is quasi starting the shit but being the hero of the shit. I would have actually preferred her to be like, to be the hero in that joint and have her, walk away. Like I was not expecting, the other brother to live. I was like, holy shit! Where did that come from? I didn't.
That one.
I was like, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah.
So I would really be curious to see if she was a sister to these brothers. Like they were family. You know what I mean? So there was a deeper aspect of. I mean, even they weren't blood, but when your mama raised you and everybody else, that's a whole different dynamics. That's family. That's all blood. Even though you're not blood, you still consider this blood. So I would have really liked for her to be the hero in it, but it's all good. It came out the way it came out, and that's how it's supposed to roll.
No. We couldn't have her the old white savior movie trope. We couldn't have her.
Go.
No,
that's how I felt too.
We couldn't have.
Well
that.
Said, Easy.
But technically, because she's still alive.
Yeah. But that was later on. It was right.
So but she is the one that bit Michael, so she might be the lead vampire right now. While you think about it,
right.
Yeah,
she's ahead of him.
Yeah,
she's ahead of him
because she started him. So
go ahead.
So I didn't understand because he was a smoke toast stack to not mess with his cousin.
Don't mess with Sam.
Right.
Can't mess with Sammy ever again. If he's not in control and she's in control, how is he able to do that? Right. So there's a lot to the story that's not even that we can continue on to. That I can't wait to hear more of.
I think that goes back to the main vampire. The main vampire, remember, they know Sammy is the guy.
So here's what we don't know. We don't know if there's other lead vampires that's out there. We don't know that. Just because the Irish dude got killed don't mean that he was the only one. We don't know that. We have no clue. And I think that's where I was like, that's a so missed opportunity with these Native American hunters.
Those Native Americans know more than what you think.
They know.
Yes.
They always do
because just be prepared.
And that's the thing, because he was solo. How long has he been living? Was he just turned himself? Which goes back to what we're talking about. Could have been a black man that turned him, because he could have been because for him to have nobody with him
and in the daytime
at that time.
This is all
in the daytime. What could have happened? That
all we know is he was being chased by the hunters. That means the hunters knew who he was, knew where he was, know a lot about him.
Probably how he got bit.
And how did they know about him to even want to hunt him down? How did they even get involved? So it's
The
something
Three
a little bit
Crows.
more. Right. So there's something about that, the tribe. How does that tribe coincide with, in that era? So now you got to do your history on what was Native Americans doing with white folks at that period to be cool and intermix with one another in the South.
And what was the three? I want to say they were buzzards. The three buzzards on top of the house. Like it was on top of the house and it was on top of the club as well. I don't know if y'all caught that.
That's symbolism.
Yeah, it's all symbolism.
It's foreshadowing.
It was foreshadowing,
Yeah.
but I was looking for the Indians when I seen that because that's when we got first introduced to the Indians, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? We don't see that. They may have been there. All we know is that Michael B. What was it? Smoke? Or no, it was who was it? The Stack or Smoke that lived.
Stack got bit.
No.
Stack got bit. Smoke lived.
Stack. So Stack. All we know is that Stack just laid waste to all those KKK cats. That's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know if he survived. We don't know if he came back because technically he was bit. He got bit on the side. We don't know. All he knows is he saw Mumi. Oh my God, Mumi Masak. Oh my God.
So his
Lord
wife.
have mercy.
I know we ain't talked about her at all. We haven't talked about her at all.
Lord.
Yeah, I know.
That's your girl right there.
Yeah.
That's one play Annie. Yeah, that's Annie. That's who you.
Yeah, I resonated with
Thanks,
Annie.
girl.
She's intuitive. She has that, she's resourceful, but she's also humbled at the same time. She's very earthy.
Yes.
Kind of caught that from her, and she's voluptuous. I just resonated with her.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Wumi, man.
I love me some Mumi Misaki, yo.
Yeah.
Man, ain't nothing wrong with you. Sit down, just let him just lay on down. Your whole day happy after that.
Yeah, Wumi the MVP. That's the MVP right there.
She was like a warm hug.
Yeah, warm hug. That's it. Man.
They get you the whole day talking about some BS. You go home to that, man, that's a good night right there. That's a great night.
Absolutely.
All
right, y'all. We're playing 4.5 hours. We had to shut it down here in a minute, man. This has been an outstanding conversation. I'm gonna give everybody their starting shots before we go to cleaning our palettes. Does anybody have a cleaning our palette? Does anybody have a good story for cleaning our palette? So, Movie John, this is your first time on, and so at the end of every episode, regardless of what we talk about, we always end on a high note, on a good note, something that's going on good in the world. It could be you just finished school, it could be your kids, it could be your grandkids, it could be your niece and nephew, it could be anything. You just got a promotion, it could be you got a new project, whatever it is. We just like to end on something happy. As we end the pod.
Got you.
But I like to get everybody a chance to talk one more time before we have. If everybody have a clean their palette moment, you can definitely do it today. If not, I have one in mind. Easy, but I want you to go first and go ahead.
Yeah, today is May 1st is Alana's baby.
Oh, hold on. That's the clean your palette. Well, let's get right at a chance. You do it last.
I'll do it last.
Clean your
Okay.
palette. You do it
All right,
last.
okay.
Yeah.
My other thing was Delroy Lindo was my favorite character. He gave me, again, that was the August Wilson thing, Joe Turner, piano lesson, fences. When he's talked, the monologue, it just brought it. Yeah, he took you there. No matter what he was saying, he took you wherever he wanted you to be. So yeah.
Yeah. TC.
No, it was good to see y'all again, man. Nothing news going on for me. About to retire. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm out.
Yeah.
I can keep that 20%.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Keith, got anything else to say about Sinners or Shedeur or Onk?
I forgot about Shedeur. Now, I'm always happy you do these podcasts, Ship. I know you don't like to get all this every time, but man, this is some good stuff. And we have all these podcasts with just like with Shannon Sharpe. I don't want to hear drama 24 hours. I like this where we talk about things that really impact our community other than the scandals and all that. This is some good stuff, Ship. Keep up, man. I'm supporting you all the way. Keep it going, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Movie Jones, you got anything before Easy cleans our
I
palate?
said so much. I don't even want people to hear my voice no more. I'm getting tired of hearing my own goddamn voice.
You're passionate.
Yeah. I appreciate you stepping on. Like I said, Movie Jones has an excellent
Check it out.
podcast
Check it
itself,
out.
video on YouTube. Yeah, he has thousands of followers.
I will say this is I'll call it a gem. You call it a clean your palate. I'll call it this a gem. Last year, I started my YouTube channel, and I started with only 100 people, and we are now almost closing into 13,000 subscribers. Now, this is just me by myself, not doing nothing, and just posting whatever I think that's fun and cool and funny. And then in some cases where we talked about sentences, we really got to dive deep. So I'm very blessed to have someone who I can converse with, because talking about yourself is just, just can't do that. You gotta talk to people. You gotta talk to people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry I wasn't able to see and show, but that's later down the line. But that's my gleam or my clean my palate. And I thank you, Ship, and thank you all for entertaining this sinners conversation. And I'm gonna shut the hell up. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Come every Thursday at 6 or 7 o'clock Philly time.
Thursday at 6.
Yeah, Thursday at 6. 7. Thursday at 7 Philly time. Thursday at 7 Philly time every week.
Well,
I'm like I said,
I'm
next
in Philly.
subject,
I'm in Philly, so that's all good. I'm in Philly, so that's good.
Yeah, 7 o'clock in Philly. Next week's subject is going to be a good one. It's going to be on who's invited to the barbecue, and we're going to break down a lot of black folks that cannot come to the barbecue.
You just go kick them out, Ship. You and my wife don't do that. Y'all not the type of people. Y'all
We already know who's
Kanye
on your list.
Kanye can't come. Kanye
No,
can't come. I don't think.
You gotta save it, bro. I gotta save it.
Yeah, let's save it, man.
All right, gotta save it. All right,
Kanye's card, huh?
Clean our palate. Oh, he been going. All right, clean our palate,
All right.
easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna show my. I don't know if y'all can see this picture, but it's terrible. Come back. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. That's my little biracial baby. No, my grandbaby, right? So I just want to say that, because we're all multicultural around here, and that's my grandbaby, y'all. She's 1 year old today. 1 year old today.
Oh, bless her heart.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
First of the month. First of the month.
So I'm going tomorrow to celebrate her birthday in Miami. So yep.
Excellent.
Good.
Oh, that's what's up.
All right.
That is.
Praise.
Well, again, y'all, I thank y'all for joining. Anybody out there that's still watching, I appreciate it. We're 2.5 hours in. That's how we do. I put no set time limit on it. We just talk and just get it in. The couch is always open for any and everyone. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday. We're gonna figure out who's coming to the barbecue and who is not.
Sure.
All
Hey,
right.
Ship.
Love y'all.
Hey, Ship,
See y'all
real-
next week. Yes, sir.
Can you get my number from your brother, because he has my number?
Yeah,
And give me a call.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
Movie Jones gonna post his link, this information?
Oh no, just go.
Yeah,
Just go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and just type in Movie
I find
Jones.
it just like Movie Jones. You can find it YouTube.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's it. That's it. All right,
Be
y'all.
good,
Appreciate
people.
y'all. See y'all.
Be good.
All right now.
Be blessed.